All right, here we go.
Hey, I'm Tom Green, but I'm not that Tom Green. I'm the Tom Green that was in Sean Ross Sapp's budget after he spent all of this money on the following movie review. I'm even cheaper than the polygamist from Utah that was in the news like 20 years ago. That guy has so much child support back owed. His cameo prices are out of control. Listen, I get Tom Green jokes every day of my life. I have since I can't even remember. The Bum Bum song premiered on MTV in August of 99 and went to number one on TRL, I believe, August 27th. You know what else happened in August of 1999? A little boy in Indiana started sixth grade, started middle school. That little boy was me. Now, middle school's hard enough when you're awkward and you're a head taller than everybody else and you look like a potato. Now imagine drawing a bum-shaped target right on that kid's forehead. And now you got kids yelling at me, "Where's Glenn? Why aren't you sucking on a cow udder?" When I sat down on anything at school, the peanut gallery came out of the woodworks with all sorts of cracks about my bum. On April 18th, 2001, Freddy Got Fingered was released to the masses. To this day, I've never watched this movie. I don't know if it's good or bad. I will be watching the review with everybody else. But I know every single joke from the movie because I've had nearly the entire script yelled in my face over the last 24 years. It's lovely. So again, I have no idea if this movie is good or not. So enjoy this film review from a pro wrestling website. Welcome to Fightful. And by the end of the review, make sure to say farewell to Fightful because Sean blew all of that super chat money on this. So if any of you from Fightful need me to write a reference letter to the Observer, let me know. Just hit me up on socials. I'll be more than happy to do so. I feel for you.
Well, thank you, Tom, for that auspicious introduction.
We're going to need those reference letters. That was very kind of him to offer because if it's not going to drive us out of business today, Alex, like we're not going to make it through this review without getting fired. I don't think. So I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful that Tom did that. But
yeah,
Alex, where normally we do like our cute little like, oh, everything sucks. Joining me as always is Kate thing. I have no idea where to start with this. Do you want to quickly maybe recap for people who don't know? God bless them. How we got here.
Sean wouldn't shut up about us watching Hot Rod. And in order to get him to stop coming on our show to talk about us reviewing Hot Rod, we agreed to review Hot Rod.
Fatal mistake, it turns out, but as you were.
During the review of Hot Rod, Sean was just on the show the entire time. And at one point, he was like, I want you to review Freddy Got Fingered. And I said no. But then eventually I said, okay, if I just keep saying no, he's just going to keep coming on the show until I agree to do it. So immediately I said $1,000. I will review Freddy Got Fingered for $1,000 because if he agreed to pay me $1,000, then I get $1,000. But if he didn't agree to pay me, then I didn't have to watch Freddy Got Fingered. Somewhere along the line, the payment was reduced to a custom puppet. I'm not even really sure how that changed. It was the community, the SGS as we call them, the Sour Grap Society, who said, maybe puppets, get them puppets. And I was like, yeah, for a custom puppet that looks like me, that's not cheap, don't like draw my face on a sock, because that doesn't count. I'll do it for a custom puppet. Honestly, I don't think it's worth it. I feel like it's $1,000. I should have stuck to my guns.
Upon having seen the movie, I feel like you are no longer the one to negotiate on behalf of both of us anymore because we should have been clearing well
As
well
soon as
over
I
1,000.
said $1,000, you were like, "I'll do it for 800." You were lowballing us right from the beginning.
Okay, but $800 in my pocket right now. We'll have to see how these custom puppets look, but this whole thing is just backwards, man. That's how I feel. It's all backwards, man. Oh, well, look who it is.
Hey guys, this is an important moment for me, and it's an important moment for Fightful.
First of all, you look great. You look
Thanks.
like you're just smiling.
Thanks.
You're glowing. Great
Yeah.
to see you have so much color in your face.
Yeah.
It's a huge moment for Fightful history, and this is entirely your doing. And I feel like, much like say a lights out match or something, like what we say in this shouldn't count toward like who we are as podcasters.
This
and
Fightful
podcasting.
cannot be held responsible for anything said or done during the movie that we are reviewing.
Just kidding, it's me.
Oh my gosh, it's been Sean the whole time. I'm so mad at you because you blew my bit. I came prepared, blazer and all. We're already off to a terrible start.
You should just be glad the hooves didn't arrive in time.
I am for so many reasons, but I also don't know if I buy that that's true, and you're not just gonna pop here later with some damn hooves.
Buddy, I wish I had hooves.
Well, that also is really. I should also announce that the bit that I had prepared also won't be able to be here because Amazon wasn't able to ship a horse penis here in time.
Oh, I hate that.
Well,
it's like 2-day delivery, and then they're like, "No, it's going to take a week." Like, get it together.
They're back ordered on horse penises.
You should have tried Temu.
Temu. Get that.
Actually, shopgoodwill.com has like surprisingly good deals on
horse penises?
Horse penises and sausage.
Okay. All right.
It's fair. I mean, listen, it's pretty surprising, but
yeah.
Oh man, this review. So there's this misconception among people that I like this movie. That's not why I asked Alex to review it.
That's the irony, yeah.
I don't like the movie. I at least enjoyed Tom Green at one point as I was a child when this guy was popular, but like I didn't suggest this movie. I didn't suggest this movie because I liked it. I suggested it because as I've repeated, like it was either so bad or it was performance art. And at one point I watched this movie and I was like, is there a point to it? Like, was he proving something here? And
so I would just say two things can be true, I think. I think this could have been intentional and still pointless and very bad.
Sure. I mean, listen, I'm going to give our viewers, many of which are likely younger and do not know who Tom Green is, because quite frankly, if you were not coherent between 2000 or actually 1999 and 2001, you might not know who he is. You might have completely skipped over it. Like he had a public access show in Canada. If you can believe that this stuff aired on Canadian access TV and it got very popular. He did the man on the street type of thing, the annoying man on the street, well before like Billy Eichner did and people like that. So he was one of those people that did that a long time, well before it became a thing. But then he got an MTV show, and the MTV show was wildly popular. And I mean like immediately wildly popular, to the point to where like 6 months after that show debuted, he sarcastically put out a song and produced a music video called the Bum Bum Song, which is all about his ass and ass cheeks. And it went #1 on TRL, which, by the way, I know that a lot of you guys don't know what the hell TRL is or how big it is, but it was a cultural thing back then. And it didn't reflect the Billboard charts, which is something that is like shocking to me as I get older, to see that a lot of these songs didn't hit anywhere near #1, but it reflected that specific MTV audience. And we're talking like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys at their absolute peak, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. And then he came through, debuted this music video, and got it to #1 within the week based on fan voting. And MTV had to scramble and say, can we retire this video? Because actually we have next week's shows in the can, and we had no idea that this song existed. So he retired it. And of all things, this man ended up with testicular cancer, which isn't funny.
No.
But one of the lines in the song is, "My bum is on the cheese. My bum is on the cheese. If I get lucky, I'll get a disease." And he opens his cancer special by saying, "Well, I got lucky." And at some point throughout this cancer special, I believe it is, he's with Monica Lewinsky, who was not doing media. She was not doing interviews. She was fresh off of the biggest political scandal in decades. I don't think Oprah Winfrey could get Monica Lewinsky. Tom Green got Monica Lewinsky. And somehow after that, Tom Green managed a semi-successful movie career, of which this was included. But like, he also married Drew Barrymore, who is in this movie. He appeared in Charlie's Angels. He appeared in Road Trip with Sean William Scott, who I just interviewed. And that's actually a very entertaining movie. I do like that movie. Stealing Harvard wasn't any good. But like, by the end of the decade, he was doing direct-to-DVD movies with like Dave England from Jackass. And I don't know, man. Like this guy's career was like so, I don't want to say so quick, because he's had success since then. He's hosted a variety shows. He's doing well.
He has a van life podcast. Like he pivoted.
he has a successful documentary, from what I understand, on like Amazon, which I think also broadcasted this movie. But he was on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. This dude. There is a Grammy award-winning song that references this movie. It's by Eminem, so that's kind of a cheat code.
Yep.
But he says, and I quote, "But it's cool for Tom Green to hump a dead moose.
Yes.
My bum is on your lips. My bum is on your lips. And if I'm lucky, you might give it a little kiss." Somehow, this man, over the course of a few years, was successful on TV, in movies, and in music. And I think it's honestly a reflection of the MTV era, when it was really at its peak. I think that's what it is. And how MTV, and when you had a show like Tom Green that was on MTV, when MTV was primarily music, it was like, yeah, it meant something a little bit. Like it just carried something to it. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of quick facts that may not surprise you. Tom Green was not the original director here. In fact, the original director quit very early in the filming of this movie. And then Tom Green just took it over.
Can't imagine why.
The soundtrack has a 4.9 on Amazon.
The soundtrack's unreal, honestly. Like
really good soundtrack.
The disparity between the soundtrack and this film is ridiculous.
I read online that a man's dying words to his son were, and I quote, "LeBaron," in reference to this movie.
Wow.
I need that. I'm saying source on how did you find that out?
It's
the son posted it on Reddit.
Okay.
The man's son posted it on Reddit.
I remain skeptical, but I appreciate.
I just want to be clear. This is not a movie like Hot Rod where I'm like, man, I really enjoyed and loved this movie. I was shocked by this movie. And as somebody who enjoyed Tom Green, and listen, still does. Like I can still find some of it very funny. But when I finished watching this, have you watched Southland Tales, Alex?
Yeah, a long time ago.
I said to Sean William Scott, who was in that movie, I looked at my TV screen for 10 minutes afterwards and I didn't know what the hell was going on. And he said, I made the movie and I don't know what happened in it. After this movie ended, I've watched it 3 times now. Once when I was younger, once last year, and then once for this. And the last time I watched it this week, I wrote down the following: the unmitigated gall that he had to even make it, and the incredible coercion to get hundreds of people to participate is what sticks out to me. I want to hear from people who made this movie. Did you stand up and go, the moose, we can do that. The elephant, maybe that's too far. I want to know.
I'll talk about. I will tell you what the final thing they had to do was to get it from an NC-17 down to an R.
What's that?
But I'll tell you when we review the movie. Okay. I'm not going to spoil it here, but it's not what you think it would be.
Well, I will say this: they do have a 3-minute PG cut of the movie.
Yeah, yes, I've heard
that's
about
the joke.
That. Yeah, that's the joke.
Very nice.
That's the joke. Well, Alex, I was informed before this that maybe you were afraid of living up to expectations.
You've promised this as the most in-depth review of this movie ever. There are very in-depth reviews of this movie. Now, there are, and I don't know why there are, but there are. And I've talked to Kate about this. This is the kind of movie where I go, well, this is bad. This is bad. I understand what they were trying to do, but it's bad. It failed on every level. And sometimes when a movie is that bad, there's not a lot of see, now with Hot Rod, you were telling me this was good. It had a lot of heart. This was funny. And I can argue the point, but no one is telling me this is good. So I don't get to argue anything.
Chat, somebody say it's good. Chat, tell us what you loved about this movie.
Yes, please. And I honestly, for research's sake, people who genuinely enjoy this movie, I want you to confess your psychological sins in the chat because something is wrong with you.
While we're talking about chats, I did legitimately spend an insane amount of money out of pocket. I would encourage you guys to send super chats and humper chats.
Reimburse this guy. Yep.
Zach Schimmel. Okay, I'll do that. But while we're here, I want to tell you about our good friends at Variant Edition. Looking for something fresh to read? Variant Edition has you covered with great recommendations from their socials at Variant Edmonton on any platform they're on. If you're local, drop in for a conversation. That's Variant Edition, graphic novels and comics at Variant Edmonton on socials. They are also located at variantedmonton.com. Variant Edition, home of your next favorite story. These gentlemen, I just want to say thank you to them. They bought 2 ad reads today, and I sold a last-minute sponsor that you'll hear from a little bit later. But I do want to say shout out to Variant Edition. Also, love their site. Love all that. Very easy to navigate. You can get gift cards over there. You can go pick up single issues. All kinds of great stuff over at variantedmonton.com. Please check them out. Please support them. Link in the bio below. I am going to bow out, of which you all know will stick for several minutes at least.
Yeah.
Oh, at least 3 to 5 minutes. But Sean really did spend so much money on those puppets. So we do invite you to send in super chats as this stream goes on. I'll pull up some humper chats too, because what's more appropriate for this than humper chats, Alex? But
for sure.
We actually had some upfront support and some chats that I just found funny that I'm going to read. But Fid, who does some wonderful work for us in Australia, said, I ran to YouTube when I got the notification. Shout out to the Tom Green that we had here before. Jamie Apps from Perio Magazine saying, oh my God, it's SRS. Oh, this was not happening without several run-ins from Sean, I'm sure. Michael Gates. This is the most important event in the history of pro wrestling. It really is. Yeah. Our dear friend Allie saying that she had an awful week, but she's here for this. And we have some other chats that were sent in via Super Chat. So thank you so much. I'm kind of sad that Sean snuck off already because the backwards man is from One LT Photo. We'll talk about that when we get to it in the movie, but that made me laugh out loud, which should surprise nobody. But Lupongi Vice is very wise, saying, sands of blinding this. Godspeed, comrades. Thank you. Thank you. It's much needed. Menormous says, Trips likes to inquire about our readiness, so I must ask Alex, would you like some sausage? Here's Menormous. Buckle up, we're in endgame. Shall we crank, darlings? If there was anything to crank over, it's Freddy Got Fingered. Just Ricardo saying, hello, lovelies. This is gonna hump. Sour King and Shredded Sour Queen gonna put this movie through the sausage grinder. SRS, would you like some sausage? We'll ask him later, but if it's with a root beer, probably. Ryan asking for Bum Bum song karaoke. Absolutely not. My dear co-host and friend Ryan, no, because you put a question mark. If you had just said, like,
you'd have to,
you'd have to make the request. Tom Valley saying, still can't believe y'all got Tom Green on the show.
The most talented Tom Green was definitely on this show.
Oh, legend, a legend.
Legend. That WCW. To honestly put over that guy, WCW deep cuts are fantastic from that guy.
Unreal.
Follow Not That Tom Green on all the socials. That dude is very, very good at what he does.
So I did reach out to the Tom Green that was in this movie because he's alarmingly accessible in this stage of his life. And I made some light efforts for sponsors on this. I thought there are certain causes that I thought if we could get like a super chat match cause sponsor, that would be a fun thing to do too. Yeah. I did not hear back, which is disappointing.
No, it's too bad.
But I did reach out and I was like, this was way too easy to find this guy's email.
Yeah, no, it's probably not good that you could do that too easily. Yeah.
Menormous also saying the Capitals still use Tom Green's Unleash the Fury from Road Trip because we had a guy named Mike Green and it's fun. They do a sports movie montage in between and until the whole place pops. I will say, I'm 24 years old, but if I wasn't, according to our wonderful group of people here,
to the lore, yeah,
I would be like perfect age for the Tom Green humor group. He was like the height of comedy, along with like Jackass and this sense of humor for a very short period of time. But it was irreverent Beatlemania at the time, like. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. It's hard to actually quantify that to people, I think, because pop culture is just so different, but he was the dude.
Yeah. I was living in a house with two other guys. At the time this was going, I was in college and they were sitting there and watching the Tom Green show. And I don't remember what the skit was, what the joke was. But as I was walking through the front door to go toward my room, they're sitting on the couch in the living room watching it. And I go, what is this? That's Tom Green. He's hilarious. And I watched for 45 seconds. I said, no, he's not. And I left. And I never watched anything else he'd ever done. Like they watched him all the time. If I knew they were watching Tom Green, I just stayed out of the living room. I've read stuff for my college classes. I would rather do homework alone in my bedroom than sit with my friends and watch Tom Green. That's what I thought of the guy at the time. I didn't get it. I don't know what there is to get.
Well, great news and devastating news. There's over 4,650 people watching right now. So I think the NXT review is about to get placed with more dumb stuff. But we got Darren Lloyd saying, here's for what's soon to be the longest Freddy Got Fingered review on YouTube from the SRS run-ins, if anything else. But our friend Kylie saying, hi, Fightful Fam and SGS. Hope everyone is well. Well, not so much because we're gonna review this
Well, not
movie.
well, but thank you
Yeah.
for being here.
Did you say run-ins? And did you say sponsors?
Yes.
I sure did, Sean.
Do you mean like Zero Sugar Mug Root Beer, which is the spiritual successor to the sponsor for the Dana Carvey show?
That's exactly what I meant, Sean.
That followed Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character getting cancer on Home Improvement?
Yes.
Is that? Well, they didn't sponsor this show.
No.
But the Two Marks Pod did. This show is also sponsored by the Two Marks Pod, the worst wrestling podcast you know. Maybe. I don't know. A small podcast where Two Marks experience WCW Nitro and ECW Hardcore TV for the first time in weekly watch-alongs.
Wow.
With other more modern wrestling sprinkled in as well. Follow them on all their socials at Two Marks Pod. How thematic that we have a couple of gentlemen who claim that their show is bad, covering stuff from the same era as Freddy Got Fingered.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to our friends at Two Marks Pod. I can't speak to the sugar content in their podcast, but link is in the description below. Two Marks Pod.
Two Marks Pod. There you go. I was really excited about the mug root beer thing. I'm not gonna lie.
I bought it for the bit A&W supremacy. It's not good.
We got more chats, and then I swear we'll get into this movie because you guys are awesome. But these ones love the SGS. Also, if you guys need someone to do voiceovers for the puppets, just saying, Sean should be in jail for making y'all watch this. Period. Matthew Hooks, a returning Fightful Award sponsor. We thank you so much. Orion Ben saying, for the love of art, I appreciate your opinions and sacrifices, Sourgraph's captains. This may be the greatest difference between soundtrack and actual film ever. That is true.
Maybe.
Let's get this show on the road after this one. This movie makes this particular blind person grateful to be so. I can't think of a better way to get us actually started. We'll get to the rest of your chats as we go on here. Thank you so much for the support because the puppet fund is steep, y'all. It's real.
So, because they have that. They have the visual, they narrate what's happening on the screen for the visually impaired. Like, though there's a kind.
Can't imagine with this.
This movie must be like I don't know how, like he stands up on the conveyor belt of the cheese sandwich factory and places a large salami where his penis would be and says, "I'm a sexy boy," and then he says "ding dong" while waving the sausage about. Like, I feel like you
spoiler, bro.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's like maybe the 50th most disgusting thing he does in this. Like, that doesn't even make the top 50.
Certainly,
of the things that he does in this that would be upsetting to somebody who's not actually watching it, but listening to being it described to them.
With that particular scene, I went back and watched it again today because, Alex, as you know, I like to watch very recent to what I'm reviewing so that my goldfish brain doesn't forget stuff. And I was very upset that when I submitted my notes, I did not make an HBK joke at the sexy boy line.
Right.
It's right there. My game.
I don't know that is the sexy boy he's referring to, but it might be. It might be.
He seems like he might be a boy toy, but
I mean,
I love that Alex is just doing everything he can not to start this review.
Yeah, when HBK posed for Playgirl, he had the IC title in front of his large salami. We can only assume. We don't know if that's an actual depiction of HBK Shawn Michaels or not.
It is just a rumor. We are not confirming that to be true.
Well, he's no Dave Bautista, I'll tell you that. Anyway, so we're supposed to get puppets. This is the thing. I understand why Sean doesn't want to wait for the puppets to be delivered for us to do the review. But I am here saying if something happens and the puppets are undeliverable, I do expect compensation in kind in some other way.
I felt like I said to you, I feel like $1,000 a piece was accurately quoted in our initial evaluation. But
Okay,
let's dig in.
so I think what this was to me is because yes, the show was so popular, and because he was like ridiculously popular, and with that, it was one of those deals. I can only, and I had heard the thing about the original director leaving. Seems to me like that feels like, without knowing the exact circumstances, it feels like, well, no, we're not doing that. No, you're not going to. You're not. Why would you get up on the conveyor belt and put a giant salami where your penis would be? That's stupid. What is that? Doesn't make any fucking sense. And then Tom Green would say, "Yeah, but I want to do it." And the producers are like, "He's the star. This is his movie. He's doing it." And the director's like, "No, he's not. Not in my movie." Well, then you're fired. You can't fire me. I quit. I'm not working like this. That's what that feels like to me. Feels like the director wanted to use the star power of his of the star of the movie to make a movie, and Tom Green wasn't interested in making a movie. Tom Green wanted to make some kind of shocking art piece for the sake of shocking, and I feel like we talked about this before. A lot of this movie feels like Tom Green was just seeing what he could do with and get away with it. Like, I feel like so many of these things he is suggesting probably to the producers, saying they're going to tell me no when I ask them to do this. And the answer was always, yeah, sure, whatever you want to do. And he's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm calling your bluff. I'm actually going to do it. We're going to film it. And then you're going to make me take it out of the movie. And they didn't. And they should have. Like, there's stuff we're going to talk about in this movie that never should have been filmed, let alone printed and released to paying audiences ever. And they did it anyway.
I feel like if you have a director who's a professional director, you're going to be at odds with what the movie set out to be. You know what I mean? Like, if you're actually trying to direct a movie, that is direct contradiction to what the movie is, which
Right.
is like kind of an undirectable beast of itself. So I didn't know any of this. Part of my favorite thing about working with Alex is with stuff like that, I just am incredibly lazy because he does so much research around stuff. And I just sit back and enjoy the ride in that regard. But I'm surprised that they attempted to get a director on board, because I feel like so much of what Tom Green was doing at that time was like, I have the thing I want to do that's wildly successful locked in. Why kind of would you bring someone else into that?
Right.
But let's pull up this chat that says, I drove 9 hours today and look forward to this review the whole time. Well, thank you.
9 hours? You mean like from Portland to Los Angeles? Oh, wait, actually,
did you see an enormous, you know what? Let's talk about the movie.
Hold on quickly before there's something wild, and my cat keeps meowing, and it's interesting. Look what he's looking at. He keeps looking at that wooden door over there, almost like he can see through it.
Right.
This is going to be an unbearably long day.
The movie starts out with some drawings, and they're stylized. They're not supposed to, like they look like a very avant-garde type of art that you might see on like an Adult Swim cartoon. You know what I mean? This thing, and it's a cat, and he's wearing a ill-fitting super suit that has X on it, and he's got big glowing eyes apparently, and they cut through. And this is also Tom Green narrating all these drawings about, X-ray cat who has X-ray vision, but only through wood, and he's looking through this wooden door, and he can see a criminal on the other side, and there's other drawings here, but that doesn't feel like it's all that weird, like he's basically, this is he's working on his elevator pitch for when he goes to Hollywood and tries to sell his drawings to like make an animated a TV show. That's fine. Oh, wait, I'm running late. I better get on my skateboard. And this is me not realizing that Tom Green was a very good skateboarder. I guess I had forgotten about that part of his thing back in the late 90s, early 2000s, because that was when skateboarding was really, really peaking.
Tony Hawk Mania,
Tony Hawk Mania, the video games, all of that stuff. But I'm getting on my skateboard and I was like, oh, he must be going to work, I say to myself as I'm watching him do this. Oh, he works at the mall, I say to myself. Because he goes into a mall and he is skateboarding through the mall, and then the rent-a-cops are chasing him through the mall, and he is jumping over things in the mall on his skateboard. And he finally gets to a door that he thinks he's going to be able to go through, but he gets to the door, and the door is a push in, and so he cannot push his way out. But he's able to pull the door open and goes out before the rental cops can get to him. And no, he was just using the mall as a shortcut, which seemed impractical. And to me, that is the one of the themes of this movie is, if anything could be practical or efficient, let's not do that. Let's do the thing that is the most impractical all the time. And the metaphor, I think, not too strained here by him skateboarding through a packed mall as a shortcut.
I feel like, assuming we have some younger viewers who, God bless you for tuning in, that was also the way to signify like you're a slacker in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Sure. Yeah.
And my concern was they were going to try and convince me that Tom Green was a high schooler. I was relieved when I found out he was 28 years old, because that was another thing. But that was like a huge, if you saw Clueless, like all the burnouts were on skateboards and stuff. Right. So that was like the first indicator that this guy like maybe didn't have it all together. But once we saw the skateboarding through the mall, I was like, oh, of course, this is what this is.
Right.
All right.
So on the other side of the mall is like an intercity bus station, like a Greyhound bus station. And he is there to meet his parents and his younger brother as he is getting on a bus to go to Los Angeles, to go to Hollywood. He left his house on a skateboard to go meet his parents, who also live at his house, who drove there. And again, impractical. I'm just going to say all the things I find impractical to help out my use of this metaphor, because everything is impractical in this. His parents and the brother could have just driven there themselves with him. But this scene feels like a lot of other awkward 2000s comedies. You know what I mean? Like the mom and the dad and the brother, like it felt none of the first 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes of this movie can prepare you for the rest of the movie, because this is all seems normal. Even the slightly stylized thing of the fixating on it so I'm going to Hollywood. I got a job at a cheese sandwich factory, which is in and of itself a funny place to get a job. So I get that part. That's okay. And but I'm so glad you've given up on all those stupid doodles that you do. And we can see that he has not. Correct. Because we saw him looking through these things. It does seem like he's very important. These are very important for him. He is leaving to go with those drawings. We can assume, and we would be right, that he is trying to make his way as an animator in Hollywood. But his dad thinks he's moving to Los Angeles to get a job at a cheese sandwich factory, because presumably all of the cheese sandwiches are made in Los Angeles County, and you have to go there to get a job in one of those. So he says, I'm going you can't get on that bus. But Dad, you bought me a ticket to get on the bus to go to Hollywood. That's not all I bought you. And he pulls out of his the car keys to a Chrysler LeBaron.
Spoiler.
Of course, unlike the Chrysler LeBaron behind Sean Ross Sapp, it's a convertible.
Excuse me, asshole. You might want to take a look.
Oh, that's a
maybe
maybe
Alex, because you don't have a LeBaron. You don't know what they look like.
Well, there's a roof. I didn't realize it was a cloth roof while looking at it, but now I do.
Are you of the belief that, like, if you buy a convertible, if it rains, you're screwed? Like, you don't have.
It's possible.
I'm
not sure.
I had a soft top convertible. That's still kind of true. It's just not, just not detrimental.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the car. It's a Butte. It made me miss my Z3 quite a bit. There was also an uncomfortable use of the word daddy in here that I think we need to talk about, because he said daddy like 900 times, and it makes me uncomfortable when a grown adult calls his dad daddy that much.
The repetition is also part of the impracticality, because where one "thank you, daddy" would be creepy enough, 100 of them, then all of a sudden it starts to lose its meaning, and the absurdity, the creepiness to me falls away, and the creepiness of calling, as an adult man, almost 30, calling your father daddy, it falls away from the creepiness factor and goes to, do you have a problem with your brain? You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing, is that the answer is yes. As evidenced by all of the things in this movie. The answer is, does Tom Green have a problem with his brain? The answer is yes. So, but not only just the daddy thing, and also the younger son who's trying to live up to what his father wants.
Who notably is not Colin Hanks, but looks a lot like him.
It is Eddie K. Thomas. So
I had no idea who that was, but I was like, is that a very young Colin Hanks? It was not.
I know you were you were a zygote, but
I was.
American Pie was not a thing that you came across in your youth.
It's not something I've watched in a really long time.
Okay. I mean, he was very, very famous for that particular character, and I don't think any other characters.
Story track.
Besides, I guess, this one. Anyway, he's trying to be what there you go. He's trying to be what what the dad wants, whereas the older brother is not, has never been, and yet father, why does he get a Chrysler LeBaron? Why don't I get a Chrysler? I should have a Chrysler LeBaron. I want a Chrysler LeBaron. And he doesn't get one because he's not the firstborn son. There's a lot of, and again, I think that the tropes are that it's playing on could be seen as intentional if this was a different movie. The trope of the firstborn son getting all of the love, even though he's a complete slacker. I think it makes a little bit of sense there.
But I do feel like it's weird because like Tom Green desperately wants his approval, and at this point he like kind of has it because the dad is just rooting for him to have this. Like, he's so supportive of Tom Green getting this job because he wants him the fuck out of the house, is how I interpreted it. Like,
yes.
So we have Sean letting you know everything else he was in, just sitting on IMDb. He said he was executive producing this and has not brought up a single chat, just so you guys know. He's just changing his backgrounds back there.
It's fine. I'm just going to keep ignoring it. So the fixation on it being a LeBaron and no other kind of car is funny because Chrysler LeBaron also was a was that not that was also used in an episode of Seinfeld, if I'm not mistaken, as a very specific
you're right.
type of car that utilized as a Chrysler LeBaron is a funny name for a car, I suppose. But they also the fixation on the word proud. And proud. A little too much, perhaps. A little veering into an absurdist take, I would say. But still, nothing through the opening credits of the movie that would lead you to think, oh, yes, this is going to turn very soon into a Dadaist hellscape from which there is no escape.
Quick
Because-
update. We did find out that it does not have an audio description. Merciful heavens.
Oh, thank God for everybody. I can't imagine who would even record such a thing.
So that was the first time anybody searched that out. No, Alex, I watched this film on an app called Plex because it was free, and the rating for it was 12%, which in retrospect was generous. But at this point, I was like, it must get so much worse because it's not that bad so far. Yeah. It just felt goofy. I did not think we were going to be seeing umbilical cords used in the way that they were down the line from this point in the film.
Yeah. So we see that he is leaving Portland, Oregon, and driving to Los Angeles, and somewhere in the lower central valley of Oregon, we can see that he is driving down a country road, which is very impractical. You just get on I-5 leaving Portland, and it takes you directly to Los Angeles. There's no reason to be on a simple 2-lane highway driving by farmland unless you might have a fetish that involves horse penises.
That is true. I will say, as someone that had a convertible, if it's a nice day, I'm taking the scenic route. I'm going that way. But I appreciate your commitment to logistics of travel and movies. It is one of your biggest pet peeves, and it's like my favorite thing.
Like, listen, I mean, I'm not saying this guy doesn't seem like he's got a whole lot of money. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So if you wanted to like save on a hotel room, you could drive straight through from Portland to Los Angeles. I wouldn't do it, but you could do it in a day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But not if you're going on the little scenic byways through farm country of the South Central Valley of Oregon. That's not the way to get there in, let's say, 16, 17 hours. That's going to add a whole bunch of time, and you don't want that. You want to get there. I would think.
I can't stress enough how much that was not my issue with the scene.
While driving past a horse farm, from a speeding car, he notices a very large horse penis. And the movie also notices it in close-up.
Yes.
And he screams and swerves the car off the road, jumps out of the car, runs up to the fence, and says, "What are you doing to that horse?" Nobody's doing anything to the horse. The horse is standing there with its own very large member. It's a stud farm, boy. That's what we do here. And so he jumps the fence, and they say, "You can't do that." And yet I feel like that is somebody on the set just who's has a microphone near them, who's just a producer. You can't do that. You can't do that. Don't do that. And they just left the voice in the movie.
Left it in.
Because Tom Green reaches underneath the horse and grabs the horse penis and shakes it. He shakes it a lot. And he says, "Look at me, Daddy, I'm a farmer." And he says, "Look at me, Daddy, I'm a farmer," 15, 20 times over and over again. And then the scene ends.
Just back in the car.
No. Yeah. And then he apparently drives the rest of the way to the Hollywood sign. And then we see him on his at his first day at work. That's how this starts.
So I'm not trying to sound all whatever, But I honestly, because of like the legend of this movie, thought it was going to be more shocking than stuff like that. And that's about on par. It leans in directions throughout the movie. But like, because of how built up this hell has been, I thought it was going to be so much worse. But when he was just shaking a horse stick,
I am so happy that is your background and not a different background, because I didn't know how committed to the bit you were going to be, Sean.
Not that committed, buddy.
Okay,
I get the channel demonetized.
It's one of those things where you see it and you go, what makes this not a crime? Because they're filming a movie? What permissions did they get here? Because at some point,
this movie's mostly crimes on some level.
Yes, I mean, legitimately, it's not like the baby scene that we'll see later where not a real baby. This is a real horse. This is an actual horse. And it's like, at what point does it become a crime? Or did they have, like, I don't want to say the term shoot here, shoot stud people there that made it not a crime?
I feel like that probably should have been a focus of your research about this film.
I feel, well, I mean, listen, I reached out to Tom Green as well, and you'd be shocked to learn I didn't get a response. But I'm curious as to the process of which making this not a crime happened, because that had to be a thing that they mentioned, like, okay, jerking off a horse, like, what's gonna happen here? First off, they're volatile creatures. They'll kick you, and like they'll screw you up really badly. But I don't know. Somebody says I'd never had to think about horse crimes before. Well, buddy, I live in Kentucky, so my culture is not your costume. First off, but like this was the thing that I saw, and I was like, okay, everything prior to this, well, it's pretty Tom Greenish, right? But like, he had never ventured into horse-turbation before. Now, granted, maybe he just didn't run into enough horses on the streets of Canada while filming his show.
Perhaps, yeah.
Mostly moose, sure. I would imagine, like, in any time an animal gets used in a film, there's like isn't there a ton of to do about that? I feel like Alex would know that better than I would.
Yeah, they'll always have wranglers around who know what the hell they're doing, which are probably the people who were around who didn't have the one line where the one old farmer said, "It's a stud farm, boy," but there's like three other guys standing around. Those aren't actors. Those are the actual horse wranglers who know what the hell they're doing. They're just standing there in costume.
I want to know what that like work order, like, how do you submit that as something that we want to use a horse on set for this? What does the paperwork look like? It's something that I never had to consider before this moment, and I wish I didn't ever have to at all. So,
well, like obviously in today's era, there would be an intimacy coordinator on set, but they didn't have those in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, touche.
I also wonder if, like, is this Kentucky Derby winner like war emblem, and he's like, I did film this thing when I was young, and I really regret it. And it's really gonna come back to haunt me.
There's a notes app already written about it. It's a whole thing.
It was a different era back then. We had to get work. Seabiscuit wasn't a thing yet. We weren't getting rolled the way that we were.
Doing what I could to get by.
Yeah, I felt like this was a crime.
There's a very long YouTube video. You can find it and watch it if you want. I found it only 20 minutes before we started this review. Had I seen it, I don't know, yesterday, I probably would have watched it. But the title of it is Freddy Got Fingered, actually a Dadaist masterpiece. Now, Dadaism, if you're not familiar with it, is a school of thought, a movement in art that formed after World War I in Europe. And it was very prevalent in the theater and in the visual art form. But the idea behind Dadaism was to prove that anything can be art if the artist says it's art. Which also, according to the bylaws of Dadaism, proves that if anything can be art, then nothing is art. They create art to show that all art is just bullshit. And I don't know if that is the thought that was in Tom Green's mind while he was doing some of this stuff. Is like, I am making a movie where I wave a horse penis around saying, Daddy, I'm a farmer. And they're letting me do it and put it in a movie because I've got some weird connection with kids who watch MTV. Somebody should stop me. Why is nobody stopping me from doing this? Is it a performance art piece? I'm not saying it's successful in that, or even if that was his intention. But some of the stuff he does in this movie can be better explained through that theory than through a theory of, here's a guy who's making a comedy movie. Because none of this shit is funny.
Wow. I will say this. It's interesting that it's a post-World War I theory, because this has a remarkable amount in common with World War I. Mostly the PTSD.
Sure.
But Alex, I mean, you're bringing it up here at the horse. It took me a little bit longer to get to is this actually performance art? But I digress.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I understand. This is again, everything escalates. Like, I almost say, there's a part where it peaks, for sure, and everything after that kind of like falls from it. There's a peak to the ridiculous terribleness but everything builds to that, and then I don't think anything that happened. Well, no, we'll talk.
To your point, though, there was like, when I studied music, there's a piece by John Cage where the guy you just sit there and you sit silently for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. I think it's called something really creative like 4:33. And it's kind of the same thing. And it was written in 1952. And I always thought that was a load of shit. The idea is like, it's supposed to make you be in the silence and reflect, and silence is a part of music. I think it's a load of crap. And I always felt like maybe I wasn't like insightful enough until one of my music professors was like, no, I think it's a load of crap too. And I was like, okay. So it's funny because I think you're probably right, but I also think that idea is a load of crap. So it's like, is it explored through this lens? Probably, but I think that lens is a load of shit. Like I appreciate that at least assigns some sort of weight to it. But
like the idea of, because I've got this ridiculously popular. For some reason, some of the stuff that I do on my weird Canadian cable access show is popular. So popular, in fact, that I got an MTV show out of it. And that is wildly popular. Some of the stuff is funny to me, but I'm just doing stuff and people like it. I'm going to record a song called the Bum Bum Song. And that song goes to #1 because everyone vote. What is wrong with all of you people? Like, is there a part of it where it's just like, I want to see how far I can go before everyone will abandon me as a celebrity they worship? Like, is there a weird part of him that feels like I don't deserve whatever this is? Can everyone please leave me alone? And when he asks them nicely, they go, "You're so funny." So maybe I'll force them to go away from some of the stuff he is doing here feels like it is a dare. I am daring you to keep watching this, to keep liking this, to keep pretending that you like this, because you think that everyone else likes it. So you, even if you don't like it, also you have to pretend like you do, or you won't be cool. some of this stuff just veers so far. We haven't even gotten to that, some of that stuff yet, but some of the stuff veers so far into that direction. I don't even know how else to explain the psychological motivations of a person who would make this.
I think there's also probably he always seemed to me like a guy who, while he was in his moment in time, was aware that this was a moment in time. Like this was not a timeless sense of comedy that's going to stand the test of time and last forever. So I think he was probably like, how far can I push that? Like if your whole thing is pushing the envelope, you have to then continue to do that until you've reached until the envelope falls off the table, Alex. Like there's like this necessary one-up yourselfness of it. And I think he probably in real time knew that was not something that was going to be ever Tom Green. So I also think like part of I don't think there's a lot of other people that could do it. I'll say that. Like one of the very few positive things I wrote about this, I was like, everybody in this was committed as hell to what they did. Like I can say that for the guy. Like you can't half-ass a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about and have it work. Like he went all the way with it.
Yeah, I did.
But we have some Humper chats that I'm going to read real quick because I always forget Humper chats. But Yaxel saying, hey, Fightful Fam and SGS, thanks for watching this movie so I don't have to. And I'm sorry, you're the best. Keep cool, Cavacools. Well, thank you so much. And Johnny Cisco saying, for the Freddy Got Fingered review, just wanted to send some support because I love you guys and the dumb stuff you get up to. Can't wait to hear this tomorrow. Thank you for the advanced chess. That's so supportive and kind of you. And we'll read this one from 1916 Batman because Batman in 1916, a much better piece of media than this. But I remember the Tom Green phenomenon. It sucked. I'm sorry you had to watch this. Puppets though. Puppets though.
Yeah. Yes.
But Alex, back to the film.
Yeah. So he gets to Hollywood, and the song, of course, being played over the soundtrack is "I Gotta Be Me, I Gotta Be Me," and of course, being him is working at the cheese sandwich factory for 6 seconds before climbing on top of the conveyor belt, grabbing a large salami, putting it where his penis would be, waving it around, saying, I'm a sexy boy, I'm a sexy boy. And then just moving it back and forth, saying ding dong, until it's time to go to lunch. And then during his lunch break, he goes to the animation studio. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that maybe if you were a veteran at the cheese sandwich factory, like you'd been there for a few years, they might just write you up. But on your first day at the cheese sandwich factory, I feel like that sort of behavior would be frowned upon and probably get you fired. Is this like, again, going back to Seinfeld, is this like where Seinfeld had sex with the cleaning lady on his desk? Like, and he says, was that wrong? I tell you, I got to plead ignorance here, because if anybody had told me that kind of behavior was frowned upon, I would not have done it. And maybe that's the case here with the giant salami penis on the conveyor belt.
I'm not quite sure. Well, I'm not quite sure why a lot of things happen in this movie. But I feel like if his time at the cheese sandwich factory was going to be so short-lived, him clocking it at all seemed unnecessary.
Right. Yeah.
But I also I was like, oh, I get it, because this isn't how a human behaves, and this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like I was just already kind of like, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, I working at a cheese sandwich factory is not an opportunity that I would take lightly, because cheese sandwiches are great. Grill them up with tomato soup. I feel like he should have taken it more seriously, especially because he thought that job was the catalyst to his dreams, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a job he had so he could become an animator. That was
That's
the
what I
thing,
mean.
you
Like
know.
I think it would actually have been funnier if he took it extremely seriously.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
absurdly
perhaps.
seriously. You know what I mean? Because that
Yes,
feels like
like
it's more in line with the movie of
shows
like
up to his
I
first
can't
day at work in a suit with a briefcase.
yes.
You
And
know
the
what I
suit
mean?
can be on
Because
backwards then. Yeah.
no, I'm gonna say no to the backward suit in any context. But um
Killjoy.
yeah, I just feel like it would be better if anybody reacted to him and was like, "This is wrong. Don't do this. This is bad." Why? Like, I
This is where the
why
original
don't any
director
of his
quit.
coworkers not? Why none of his coworkers go, "Hey, buddy, that's not how you make cheese sandwiches." You know, I don't know. Also, the cheese sandwich thing's a misnomer. There is turkey and ham on those cheese sandwiches, which at that point makes it a turkey club sandwich of some
Yeah.
kind. That's weird.
I agree with that.
Uh, anyway, he goes into to this animation studio place, and he runs past the security guard through the metal detector, and there's some hijinks where he says weird things to the security guard, who is more bewildered than he is upset by a guy barging through security and getting on an elevator. Japan 4 is something, I guess, that people would find funny. Not me, but people.
Yeah, I was kind of like, he's a terrible security guard. And I didn't
No, he's very bad at his job.
horrendous. I didn't get it. I didn't even understand what he was. I was like, Japan 4, Japan floor. What? I don't know.
Japan 4. I have the bag for the eels. For the badger. None of those things have any context here. Like, at least when he goes into the actual office on the right floor, he walks past the receptionist, who is played by Drew Barrymore, because
This is where she fell in love with him.
love makes you do funny things, I guess. But she says, "Hey, what you got there?" It's like, I got this package you guys ordered. At least that makes sense. He's not saying Japan 4 to her. I have a package you guys ordered, might get you in through a door if the receptionist really doesn't care about her job. But Drew Barrymore apparently does and follows him. It's like, who is that for? I'll take it. It just says boss. Boss? The boss. Mr. Davidson? Yeah, Mr. Davidson. Peter Davidson? No, Dave Davidson. Yes, Dave. It's smudged, so I couldn't read it before. And it's like, and he's got brown hair. No, he's blonde, and he just says blonde. I need a blonde, blondie, blonde. And everyone's like, this is hilarious. How hilarious is this? And he says he's at lunch. Okay. I will take it from him. Oh no, but I should. Oh, his wife is dead. That's the thing his brain goes to, is his wife is dead. So I should tell him. But why should be the one to tell him? Why would you tell him? My name is Quincy. I'm with the coroner's office. I'm basically a cop. Like Quincy, the TV show from the 1970s starring Jack Klugman, where he was a coroner working with the coroner's office. He was basically a cop. So he just lifts, and Drew Barrymore apparently, because, well, she wasn't born then. She was 4 during ET, so she did not watch any episodes of Quincy. So she does not know she's being a practical joke pulled over on her. But she gives him the address of the restaurant he's at, and she's like, "Oh my God, he loved Linda. He's going to be so broken up about this." And then Tom Green walks back over to Drew Barrymore. He says, "Yeah, love is great, isn't it? Love. Yes, we all love love. Would you go out with me?" And I thought this was going to be the love interest. I thought Drew Barrymore would. Why would Drew Barrymore be in this movie to have this one scene and nothing else? I thought she was playing the love interest. And
she also gets yeeted into some toxic waste later, but yeah.
Oh, right. That thing, whatever.
Yeah, this felt like they wanted to put her in there because they were in love.
Yeah.
And her not being the love interest was like, haha, get it.
Yeah, I suppose. But anyway,
he is very quick on his feet with this. And then he almost blows it.
Skinny loser.
Yeah, the way she yelled it actually popped me. That made me laugh.
Yeah. So because he told her that he was a cop, he goes to a costume shop and rents an English bobby, like Victorian era English police officer costume that is way
Correct.
too big for him. And he goes into the restaurant just yelling for Dave Davidson, who is played by Anthony Michael Hall. Again, another person who like had a career and didn't need this. But he it's like she said, like, hello, yes, officer. It's like, I'm not a cop. And he throws his hat down, and I need you to make a TV show out of my drawings. And he just goes and leaves, and then he follows him out to the valet stand, and while he's waiting for his car to be brought up, he shows him the drawings. And he's like, fine, I'll look at your drawings. And he tries to explain X-Ray Cat. None of this is good or funny, or but it does explain the entire movie. Because Dave Davidson's reaction to it is, okay, so the drawings are pretty good, but none of it makes sense. It's got to make sense. You actually have to do something that actually tells a story that like makes something we want to see. Because him looking through a wooden door isn't a plot. There's also a thing where there's a big bag of eyeballs and the sauce. That's what he says. It's all, none of it makes sense, but it is a lot of it does feel like notes from a producer. Okay, all of this is fine, but it's got to actually make sense, and there has to be a plot. And I feel like he was told that and then went back and rewrote the script and put a plot in it that he then decided to tear apart every time he had the opportunity to do it.
He does also have a fully loaded gun with his coroner's outfit, which he threatens to pull.
I mean, he threatens to kill himself, but I don't know if there's any bullets in that gun. You don't know if there's any bullets in that gun.
Fair. That's a fair point.
Because your drawings are shit. You suck. Well, I suck. I don't want to live anymore. And he puts a gun in his mouth. The way that Anthony Michael Hall reacts to it suggests that it might be a very obviously plastic gun to anybody who's within 6 inches of the gun. It's like, no. Hey, don't take the gun out of your mouth. Go back, work on it, come up with an actual storyline for your characters, get inside the animals, and then if it still sucks, then blow your brains out. Get inside the animals is a thing that he says. He says, I can't devote all this time to making it better because I have a job at the cheese sandwich factory. Well, that's not how this is going to, too bad, kid. It's not how this is going to work or whatever. Quit the job at the cheese factory and blah, blah, blah. So he quits the job at the cheese sandwich factory, and he's going to drive back to Oregon.
I audibly said, "Oh no," when I realized that was going to be an allegory for the rest of the film. And then when I once again knew the inside of the animals thing, I thought vegans and people that are animal rights people should not watch this film. This is terrible. Yeah. I was living for Anthony Michael Hall's specifically extremely year 2000, 2001 blonde. That was a very specific look for men at the time. And this is a pivotal point in a non-pivotal movie. This is like what sets up the rest of a movie that makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
So this is his big mission. I did like that he said, like, your drawings are actually good. It's everything around it that's shit.
Yeah, none of it doesn't make sense.
Because he didn't just like stomp him out. He like gave him something to work toward.
Right.
But I think he says like none of this makes any fucking sense. And that's when I was like, oh no, this is the rest of the movie.
Yeah. This is what the whole movie is gonna be, is nothing makes any fucking sense. But he also, when he says get inside the animals, I said, well, that's not gonna lead anywhere good. And the next
Correct.
scene is him driving again through some weird backwoods 2-lane highway. Like again, I-5 is right there. It leads you directly to Portland. And he sees a roadkill deer. Everyone says it's a moose. It is not a moose.
It's a
not
very
moose.
large deer, right?
It's a
I
very
was doing a lot of this.
It's a very large deer. It is not a moose. Everyone says moose. It's not a moose. A, moose are not native to California, which is where he was driving. And B, it's not a moose. If you know what a moose looks like, that's not a moose. So he says, I'm gonna get out of my car. I'm gonna get inside the animal. He uses a knife to cut open the deer. Its entrails spill everywhere, and then he wears it. He
Didn't see it.
The animal.
Had my hands over my eyes the entire time.
He is gallivanting all over the road. There's blood everywhere. And the song that's playing is "I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony." It's ironic, and the juxtaposition of that is unsettling. But then he's hit by a semi-truck going at a very high rate of speed.
But it's totally fine.
And unfortunately for the movie, he survives.
I didn't see most of this. I had my hands over my eyes. I would do one of these to see if it was over, and it was disgusting, and I can't handle when bad things happen to animals anymore. So did not see a lot of this, but knew what I was in for the rest of the show. But MD Cyclo said Alex and Kate shouldn't have been cosmetically cleared to review tonight. I would say I agree, but for some reason there's 6,300 of you. I'm gonna say sickos watching, which is so appreciated. JW Pringle saying, I don't understand the universe anymore. Enjoy the ride. Make up a cool, have mercy on our soul. Sister Kate, cousin Alex, I promise not to tell Papa Paul. I have very supportive parents and actively told them not to tune into this. So that I could continue working here without them having serious questions. But most importantly, to Mark's Pod saying, just started from the beginning a few minutes ago, but thanks so much for letting us be a part of what I assume will be Sean's magnum opus. Thank you for being incredibly silly and spending money to sponsor this. It means a lot that you helped us chip away at this, and it's honestly, we have so much fun here, and I appreciate you contributing to make part of that fun feasible financially and to recover Sean's puppet fund. It genuinely means so much. But Alex, take it away.
So he makes sure on his return trip back up to Portland to drive the same 2-lane highway past that original stud farm while eating a sandwich, and he stops the car to watch that stud horse mount a mare and just go to town. And the sandwich gets progressively larger and messier as he eats it while enthralled by horse breeding. And again, somebody should stop him. And they don't. And I wonder if he had the same thought. Why is nobody stopping me from doing this? I watching this movie over everything that happens, I go, somebody should stop him. Does he realize that somebody should stop him?
That's how he built his empire, though, was that not happening? This was maybe not even the weirdest horny scene that we get in this movie, Alex.
No, Lionheart, he gets hit by a truck. He's back up on his feet with driving within seconds. He gets up, the trucker gets out of the car, walks up to him, and he's laughing. He gets up and he's like, I didn't expect that to happen. And gets back into his car covered in deer blood. He gets back.
My notes on this just say eating sandwiches to horse breeding is weird as fuck. That's what my notes say.
And the next shot after that scene, after him eating the sandwich to the horses, there's just a big, giant plate of roast beef. And it was at this point that I had the same thought that you did in your notes, which is Kate just cannot be happy There's so much meat in this movie, and not like Will Hobbs versus Miro, but like actual meat, you know?
No animals are harmed in the making of a meat match. That is not a product of animal cruelty. Yeah, no, this genuinely, like, I wasn't uncomfortable by a lot of it because I was just so expecting it to be what it was. But animal stuff, like, I just love animals too much.
Yeah.
Like that stuff was not fun. Not fun to watch. I didn't really watch it. It was a lot of, like,
before the roast beef. As he pulls up into his car, a neighbor child, maybe 7,
baby Darby Allin,
just runs and does a suicide. He trips, but it sure looks like he does a Darby Allin suicide dive into the side of his Chrysler LeBaron, and comes up like he got some serious color, broke his nose or something. And I said, "Is this supposed to be a young Darby Allin?"
Yeah, which made me laugh uproariously. And I think he, in today's society, would have a little pink coat that he would wear all the time.
Yeah. Again, I don't know why the child does a suicide dive. It's a theme. That child keeps getting hurt by different things.
Carrying Cross would never, man. He's
got to smile through the whole thing. Yeah, no, this kid is definitely taking bumps. So he's back home. The dad is very upset with this. The mom is trying to placate the father, like, just be nice to him. You know, he's very upset that he didn't make it in Hollywood or whatever. But his immediate thing was like, why do you always have roast beef? It's boring. And he pulls out of his backpack what can only be a very cold fast food chicken sandwich. It's like, I'm eating a chicken sandwich. Like, you're not eating a chicken sandwich. You're eating her mother's roast beef. This is absurd. Which is very true. It is absurd. I'm a 28-year-old man. I should be able to eat a chicken sandwich if I want to. And then Rip Torn grabs the chicken sandwich and throws it to his 2 very hungry large dogs. And Tom Green's very angry about this. Yeah.
So I said one thing. There's like 3 things that I had positive to say about this entire movie. One thing that I liked about it was there's like this very common portrayal of parents in media, of moms being like this and fathers being like this.
Yes.
The hard ass dad and the coddling mom, and neither of those dynamics are particularly healthy, and they do produce dysfunctional families. And I actually kind of liked that with the mom, who was that wonderful actress from Airplane, and Rip Torn being the dad. Like, obviously they go to the absolute extremes with these things,
right?
But like, that is such a common thing that we see in media presented, less now, which is good. But I was like, I like that it produced a dysfunctional kid. Like I actually think that's kind of important.
Yeah.
But I feel like he should have had cheese sandwiches for days, is how I felt. Like, why is it a chicken thing? Craig Cherry said, I read the notes on Selected. I'm still lost. Me too, buddy. Me too.
He the trope of the dad and the mom, and then the two brothers. The way that I would describe it is, if this was a movie that was interested in actually trying to really satirize something, the idea of, like, what if Archie and Edith Bunker from All in the Family had 2 sons, Biff and Happy Loman from Death of a Salesman? Because that is, at its core, who Tom Green and Eddie K. Thomas are. Because, like, the younger brother trying to be like the top guy, like wanting to be better than his dad, and better than his older brother, who's the favored son, even though he's really a shiftless layabout. And the dad, like, wants him to get his act together so he can say, look at my oldest son, he's a real man, and all this kind of stuff. And also, at the same time, you have this very gruff blue-collar dad and the put-upon housewife mother who's just trying to make everybody happy and pretend everything's okay. All of those things together could be an interesting like satirization of the American family in film and television.
Sure.
If it didn't have so many, horse penis jokes. You know what I mean? Like you could actually make that movie a satirization of the American family in film and television. But if you wanted to make that movie, I would say you should refrain from the horse penis jokes, because then it just feels incongruous to me.
I mean, at least 70% of them I would cut out, but Single Blue Note Panda saying, for both of you sitting through that quote unquote film. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So after dinner, this is where we meet Darren. It is a testament to whoever decided these things that within this very brief scene, you figure out exactly what these two guys' relationship is through no exposition whatsoever. But Darren, Harlan Williams, as you said, the host of Premium Blend on Comedy Central, but also was in Dumb and Dumber and Rocket Man and Half Baked. He had a career. But he's wearing a suit, like his tie a little pulled down and unknotted. And this is where Tom Green is he's building a skate ramp, like in the carport in front of the garage. And Darren, the friend, you could tell like they went to high school together. They've been best friends since they were 9. But Darren at 28, like has a job, and he's maybe a mortgage. And Tom Green is this guy. And so they still have, like, back when they were in middle school, one day we're going to build a half pipe right here in front of my dad's garage. It's going to be awesome. And Darren's like, yeah. But then, 15 years pass and I've moved on, but you haven't. And so he uses a nail gun at, midnight to finish building this thing. Again, where 1 or 2 nails would finish the job, he puts a bunch in there. But the impracticality of that, I thought, could be explained away of, I just want to get my dad's goat because I hate my dad. And I know he's trying to sleep, so I'm going to make all this racket to piss him off. So then they finished, he made the thing. He says, aren't you going to try the new half pipe? As he is himself using the half pipe, Tom Green says. Like, well, I don't have the right shoes for it. These are dress shoes. They don't have no sole and they're all slippery. Okay, fine. I guess I'll try it. And he gets on the skateboard, and it probably shouldn't have, because it slips out from underneath him. And he really horribly breaks his leg.
Through the skin and everything.
A compound fracture breaks through the skin. His fibia and his tibia just completely fucked up. Rip Torn comes out and like, what the hell are you guys doing? Oh, look at his fucking leg. And Tom Green, instead of, calling 911 or getting a pillow or an ice pack, makes out with the leg wound. He gives the leg wound oral pleasure. Like, I don't know what he's flicking his tongue all over it. This is bad. It's a bad thing. This is where you go, why would you do this if you weren't trying to get someone to tell you you can't?
I am at this point was like, I just want to know what if you did a drug test in the middle of this. Who was on what that thought to do this?
I don't know, man.
But no, it's disgusting. My notes had said like pretty much exactly that. Like, why did I have to watch the host of 90s ensemble comedy show, stand-up show?
Yeah.
Break his leg and Tom Green lick it. It's weird.
I mean, the practical reason for it is that is what gets him in the hospital so that he can meet the love interest character.
Betty.
sometimes movies will do that. They'll do a weird little what seems like, why does this happen? Well, it happens so that the serendipity can put him in a place where he'll meet the love of his life. Because if Darren doesn't break his leg skateboarding on the carport half pipe, then there's no reason for him to go to the local medical facility, and there's no reason for him to meet the nurse. And that's something that makes sense. But yeah.
That is accurate. This is the segue. But there's so many ways we could have gotten there, Alex, that he could have just broken his leg and not got disinfected by Tom Green licking it.
There's no reason for him to lick it. Breaking his leg, I would say, is helpful to the storyline, but the licking of the wound is not. No, the bonolingus is not a thing we need to do. We don't need to do that. No.
Well, guys, he may have been harmed a little bit physically, but mentally, he would have been fine. Thanks to NAMI Communicate on Twitter. We encourage you guys to check out NAMI.org, which is a sponsored sponsor of this show. They have incredible resources. It's been fantastic. I've worked alongside with NAMI for like a dozen years. I do NAMI walks here in Lexington. One of the matches I did with Shaza was to raise funds for NAMI. They provide an incredible amount of resources that, quite frankly, you might need if you watch this movie. Yes. There is a significant chance they can provide you with a resource of which can be very helpful at the National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI.org, or you can go to NAMI Communicate on Twitter, on Instagram. Very valuable resources, very great people. I mean, listen, used by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people every single year at NAMI.org. And he told me not to shout him out, but shout out Zach Schimmel for sponsoring that.
Yeah, no, Zach is incredible and always super supportive. It is like on a serious note, which literally nothing else in this review is. And I applaud Sean for his segue and making that work. It is Suicide Prevention Week. So there's never been a more appropriate time for that. And there's just nothing more important than your mental health, because if that's not in check, nothing else is. So take care of yourselves, take care of the people in your life, and don't watch things that drive you to lunacy.
Yes. And I mean, like, I'm telling you guys, like, a broad amount of resources that are available at this site, whether you speak English, Espanol, they've got you covered over there. NAMI.org. Also, I want to shout out our friend of the show, Brooke Havoc, who is doing, a number of weeks training across America to raise funds for NAMI. Great. So shout out to her as well, doing great work.
Joshua D said, this MF spitting. Look, it happens. It happens from time to time. But anyway, from mental health back to a scene that is incomprehensible to the human mind.
Yeah. So
I'm also going to ask Sean to check the private chat real quick.
Yeah. Thanks. One of the things that we that to me makes the movie so frustrating is that there are very few, but there are some scenes within the movie that I'm like, oh, well, this is great. This is really good. You've actually done a very good job of creating human being characters that interact as though people might. And there's no penises, horse or otherwise, within the scene. And more of the scenes should be this. The scene where he meets Betty, the nurse at the hospital. He walks up to the desk to probably find the room number for his friend who broke his leg in his carport half pipe. And she's doing this thing where she's flipping these little creamer cups that you would get at like the cafeteria at the hospital. And she's trying to flip them and see how many in a row she can get. And he walks up there, is like, and he takes notice of that. Says, "Oh, that's that little fun little game you do." Like, yeah, my record is 7 in a row. It's like, wow, this is fun. Are hospitals always this fun? She goes, no. Sometimes people die of cancer. And his response is, he's just
left in the movie.
What am I supposed to say to that, right? But she's got this smile on her face, this very winning, personable smile the whole time. And she is obviously charmed by his awkwardness, and she's cute as a button. And they're doing this weird little awkward flirtation thing, and she's oh, so this is what you do? Like, actually, I'm a rocket scientist. Oh, well, an amateur rocket scientist. What do you do? And he makes up a lie because he doesn't know what else to say. And
well, he
says
legitimately doesn't know who he is, right?
Right.
Like he only even half believes himself
in the stock market because I want to impress this girl. I'm in the stock market. You know what I mean? And it's a really winning little scene between these two. This is a really fun little meet cute. And then, in a thing that shocked me, there's an alarm thing. I've got to go do something, like somebody's dying in another room, and she writes her number and name on a little post-it note and gives it to him. And as she leaves, she backs a wheelchair away from the thing and leaves. And I was like, that's super progressive for a 1999 of like the love interest is disabled. That's a really progressive and an inclusive casting choice. It's a really cool thing to put in the script, and obviously they're treating disabled people in this movie with the utmost respect. And obviously this statement that I am writing now will not come back to haunt me later in the film. So
narrator said,
yeah,
but it would come back to haunt him later in the film.
So he goes in to visit Darren, and this would seem to Portland has large hospitals. Portland is the second largest city in the Pacific Northwest. There's hundreds of thousands of people in Portland Metro, millions of people in the greater Portland area. They have large hospitals that have maternity wards within them. And I'm pretty sure they still did back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So a woman who is actively giving birth would not be put in a room with a guy who broke his leg the night before. She would be in a maternity ward room. But she is there. She is neighbors with Darren, who's has his leg raised. And Tom Green, because again, he's a man child and doesn't know, okay, she's hot, but she's also in a wheelchair. Is it weird if I like her? Because he's 11. So he walks up to Darren and is like, hey, I met this girl and she's in a wheelchair. And his awkwardness about it leads Darren to be like, so you don't like crippled people? Like, well, you're a cripple. Ha! And he starts banging on his leg, right? And so Darren starts screaming because that would hurt. And then the mother, expectant mother, actively giving birth in the middle of contractions is like, can you shut up? I'm pregnant. I'm giving birth here. And nobody shows up to do anything about this. So Tom Green decides, I will put on this lab coat that is hanging here, and now I am a doctor. And she is going into labor, and also in this room are 2 other beds. And there are 2 women in their 50s in these beds, and they pull out Native American drums and start chanting.
Some
you got me. I have no idea why that is a thing somebody thought they would add to this. So he gives birth to the baby. He doesn't give birth. He births. He is the birthing coach. He delivers the baby. And as the baby shoots out at him, and he falls back, and the umbilical cord is pulled tight. It's a really gross thing to say. And if you thought, oh, that's gross, wait a second, because she says you've got to cut the cord. And I don't know how hard he looked for a scalpel, but it seemed to me that plan A was, let's gnaw on the umbilical cord like a coyote. And he does. And Harlan Williams can't bring himself to look at it. Everyone's screaming. The native ladies are playing their drums. And he gnaws through the cord, but now the baby isn't crying. Oh God, he still birthed the baby, I thought to myself. And somehow it was worse. Somehow it was worse than the baby being born dead was the next thing that happens, which he says, I will wake up your baby. So he grabs the umbilical cord with both hands and swings it around his head like he's Cesaro with Darby Allin, like he's Claudio Castagnoliing this infant child via umbilical cord.
Alex, you covered a lot of ground there. I'm going to start at the meet cute because I was very charmed by it. Betty is just adorable. She being so grounded in constant absurdist circumstances through the movie, like there is like a sweetness to her, except for the parts where she's insane, which is, we'll get there. The entire hospital thing, I also thought it was like actually a pretty cool choice that they had her in a wheelchair, because he's not the most insensitive he is to it is in that moment that you just talked about. Like, it's not like a thing that gets used, that gets made fun of, I should say, for the rest of the movie, which like, I wouldn't say there's a lot of tasteful things about this movie. And that is a kind of an important one to not be awful about, which is something that's good about the movie. Like, all the horrendous shit happens to him. But I actually thought that was pretty cool when you consider like what was going on in 2001. There's no articulating what the hell is wrong with this umbilical cord scene. It's horrendous. This is a live action remake with Sean Ross Sapp now bringing the baby back to life.
Professional reenactment.
It is a professional reenactment from voiceover actor Sean Ross Sapp.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Sponsor us, A&W. We love you. Product even.
Well, I'll tell you what you will be jealous of, Alex. The fact that our lovely sponsors at Variant Edition picked up 2 ad reads. You can follow them at Variant Edmonton. I want to shout them out so much. Man, variantedmonton.com. These lovely gentlemen. You can go over there, check out the Variant Edition graphic novels and comics. They are the winner of the Harry Kramer Award for the most outstanding comic shop in all of Canada. If you're looking for something fresh to read, Variant Edition has you covered with great recommendations from their socials at Variant Edmonton across social media platforms. That's on any platform that they're on. Or if you're local, drop in, have a talk with them. That's Variant Edition graphic novels plus comics at Variant Edmonton on socials. They're located at variantedmonton.com. Variant Edition, home of your next favorite story. They have a lovely looking store, a lovely looking website with a little bit of everything over there. Shout out to our friends at Variant.
I don't know a ton about comics, but to my knowledge, that is the most prestigious award in Canadian comics. So check them out for sure. Sincere thank you so much
if
to them.
You would have landed Tom Green, maybe he would have told us.
He probably would have. If
He
you
might
had
have,
landed Tom Green, maybe he would have told
Right.
us. Very funny that he was probably like, who are these people at Fightful and why am I getting spammed by them? But also, shout out to Variant for throwing money into this review, but also knowing exactly when we need a break, because that scene is horrendous. And I feel like I need a breather after discussing how horrendous it was, because the swinging the baby around thing is gross, but it's also so stupid. The chewing the umbilical cord thing is purely disgusting. But oh, get out of here with that. That's so gross. Let's
I
get
want to pop in and address something very topical here.
Brother, did you come to the wrong podcast? Jeez.
Oh, are you going to be bummed out, friend?
In this film. I don't know if you know that, but Ilya Dragunov was not in Freddy Got Fingered, to my knowlge.
No.
Daddy, would you like some sausages?
He's going to miss a little bit more time with a severed umbilical cord.
Oh, the worst.
Just when he got over the knee thing, then he's got a new injury to deal with. It must have happened during training. It must have happened during training. That's the worst.
Before we resume the stupidity, let's plow through some more of these chats, because I need a breather after reliving that. But Jordan saying Freddy got fingered, Alex and Kate got puppets, SRS got his wish. But question is, was it worth it? Nothing but respect for your sacrifice. TBD, I gotta see these puppets. I won't make any judgments until the actual puppets arrive. Yeah. I think that's fair. But I feel like our initial quote was also fair at a grand apiece. So we're gonna need the puppets to over deliver here. Cyclops is better than Wolverine says, speaking of sponsors, Kate hasn't reprehended the mailman for weeks, and it makes me sad because hearing Kate say, yeah, mailman, is my favorite part of ad reads on Wednesdays. Anyway, this movie sucks. It's my favorite. That was also a Friday thing where Cardoza and I both ended up saying it. But I play that ad read oftentimes because it's the longest one, and I'll go get like water or something in between, and then I come back and I just go, yeah, mailman. Yeah. Some more chats from you sickos. Thank you so much for all the love. Pookie Pop saying, you know what, I'll just say the legit have been looking forward to this review since the first got suggested. Love you both. Let's get fingering isn't even the part of this chat that I didn't want to read. But Greg Terry Brand said, love yins, love puppets, and just for a wrestling related pun, the ventriloquist of Jericho, puppetry man. Thank you, Greg Terry. We appreciate all of your support as always. Rob saying, currently convalescing with COVID. It occurs to me that I would rather deal with this than having to watch this movie. Thank you for your sacrifice. As someone who's had it 47 times, it's a toss-up.
Equally hazardous to your health.
There's no vaccine for this, which is a shame.
Yeah. Anyway, surprisingly, the big swing works. And the baby comes back to life, and it's okay. And everyone in the entire room is covered in blood from spitting the baby over his head, including the mother.
I'm sure, by the way, that the chat was waiting in suspense for what happened to the baby. We really left you with the baby was dead,
and he brought it back to life with the power of swinging it over his head, and he gives it to the mother, who's very happy to have it, and he says, I saved the day. I saved the day. This is also a little weird thematic thing, because the reason that he likes X-Ray Cat because X-Ray Cat saves the day. He saves the day.
Yes.
And so he got to save the day. He became a superhero, just like X-Ray Cat. Again, he's 11. In his brain, he's 11. So like, he's escorted out of the building because he's been pretended to be a doctor. And he's I don't like the way this hospital treats heroes, or whatever he says. And then he says to Betty on his way out, "I saved the day." They
She does believe him a little too easily. She's like,
she does.
she's like,
but she's
yeah,
very
he
trusting.
probably did.
Yeah. She
She
goes
is.
to he goes to her house to pick her up for their date. And she's got a nice little apartment. And
Just fireplace.
she
Nice.
shows him that she's actually making a rocket powered wheelchair. And that's why she's working at the hospital to pay the bills while she is building a rocket powered wheelchair. And says, "Does it work?" No, not yet. And he says, I bet you feel like a big dumb dummy because your rocket powered wheelchair doesn't work. Like, what? Yeah, you tried to make the rocket wheelchair work and it doesn't work, so you must feel like a big dumb dummy. And again, this is all very stupid, but in a different movie, you wouldn't say it that way, but there would be a connection between he tried to become a famous animator in Hollywood and it didn't work. And that made him feel like a big dumb dummy. So she tried to make a rocket powered wheelchair and it doesn't work yet in her mind. I didn't expect it to work the first time. It's trial and error. You got to keep trying and trying and trying. But I know eventually I'll get it right. And he, because he's 11 in his brain, had never thought of that before. So like there's a weird, like in a different movie, you could see the connection between these two in that she has a different outlook on what failure is. Failure is steps to success for her. For him, it's an endpoint. I failed. I'm done. My life is over. I got to go back, move back with my parents who hate me. My dad hates me. My mom tolerates me. My brother is an idiot. Like all this stuff. Like that's my life is over. I failed once. My life is over. She says, I failed the first of many times before I succeed. And him seeing that in a different movie would allow him to just, not have to do the horse penis stuff and just become, something else with his life. So.
I do like. I was so charmed by Betty, like the way this actress portrayed everything. Like she's really magnetic, and I kind of wish we had seen her circumstances because part of why Tom Green doesn't believe in himself is the product of his environment, right? And I would love to know like what the product of her environment was. Like growing up with a disability, like there's actually a lot of opportunity for some pop-up video from Sean here. But like they could even do it in the style of this movie, some extremely long monologue about some accident that she had that put her here. Like I feel like there were opportunities for that. But I was also kind of taken back by like the moments where Tom Green has to be sincere. He's actually really good at. Like there are some, you were mentioning Seinfeld before, that guy can't really act. He just knows comedy really, really well. Yeah. There were times in this I was like, oh, Tom Green can actually kind of act. Like there's an appeal in the way that he approaches his like awkward little self. And she's so damn cute in this that like I kind of like the pairing, but I just wish we got to know more about her.
The cuteness and innocence of her is about to go by the wayside because she's like, the reason I like rockets, as she fondles one that is blowing fire into the air in her apartment, which I feel would set off the smoke detectors, but whatever.
Sure.
She says, I like rockets because they're hot and hard and long. And again, he does react in a way that like a very young boy might, like girls. Like he doesn't have he picks up the double entendre, but doesn't, he's like, I thought we would go to a movie.
No, you're not like, this guy's a playboy. Yeah.
She pulls a stick of bamboo out from her wheelchair and she wants him to hit her in the legs with the bamboo. It is sexually gratifying to her for some reason. I don't know if she like convinces herself she can feel it. and anything being able to feel anything is I don't know what that would be. I've heard of this
hardcore. She's hardcore. She's hard.
I've heard of this being a thing with people in wheelchairs, because that is like because the sense they almost can convince themselves they can feel that, and so that itself is something that they want because they can't feel anything.
Like
So
a
something like that,
gratification.
but that leads to that kind of a thing. Anyway, he gets a little too overzealous with it and ends up hitting her in the face with the cane, but she doesn't really seem to mind. In fact, she's like, okay, now it's your turn. And he's like, well, I don't want to be hit with the cane, and she's like, no, I'm going to give you a
I have
blowjob.
sensitive knees.
I have sensitive knees. And she says, no, I'm going to give you a blowjob, and he doesn't seem to want it, mostly because he has stolen part of the umbilical cord from earlier that day at the hospital and taped it to his own belly button. And she says, what's this? I just taped it there for fun. And I feel like that's probably where you say, well, it's been a long day and I've got work in the morning. You can leave now. That's
there are several
points. 1,
points.
2, and 3 is I stole an umbilical cord from the baby I swung over my head, and I've taped it to my own body for fun, he says. That's it. You're done.
You know,
says
yeah,
it's okay.
I think there were even
He does say
signs.
it's okay. She does say it's okay. I'll work around it.
Her reaction of that, I actually thought was hysterical. Of like, oh, okay, I'll work around it. I would say between hearing the fallout from what happens in the hospital and also getting caned in the head, probably that strikes 1, 2, and 3. But that not for our dear Betty.
No.
She's a trooper in this beach situation, so God bless. She really shakes off the kendo stick shot, and I just feel like that's the wrestling connection that we'd been looking for with this movie, because you and I set out to do these as like, oh, there's a wrestling tie, and so we reviewed them on a wrestling website. Sean went into business for himself. We deviated, but EC dub. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's the next morning, and the younger brother shows up at the house, the parents' house, in a suit, and sits down to a breakfast. I love, like, on a weekday morning when mom just makes you pancakes and eggs and bacon. Isn't that great?
The best.
It's just the best. On a random ass Wednesday, just yes, a high stack of flapjacks. Let's was that go. Way in my house. And he's there, and he's like, this is him finding out for the first time that his brother is back home from LA. Like, what? He's back? He couldn't master the complexity of making a cheese sandwich, which is the best actual line in the movie. Yeah, turns out he couldn't master the complexity of making a cheese sandwich. So he's back home. That's great. That's a really good line. And it's like, he's taken a shower. He's been taking a shower forever. I mean, it's like, yeah, why doesn't he save some water for the fish? Right, Dad?
Yeah.
And his dad looks at him like he fell out of a tree. And I love that, like, he's trying to figure out, please love me. I am the second born son. Please love me. And the dad just has no tolerance for it. So he goes into the basement down there where they have a second bathroom, and he's still taking the shower. So he turns all the water off or makes it super cold. I don't know. And finally
he flushes the toilet to make it super hot, right?
Yeah, he turns a knob right outside the door. Oh, this will fix him. And nothing. So he goes in, then he flushes the toilet and nothing. So he opens up the thing, and he's wearing a full scuba suit. He's wearing a full scuba suit, the tank and everything, and a mask. And I don't know. This reads to me as Tom Green, the day before they were shooting this scene, was in some like weird curio shop and saw a scuba suit on the wall and said, I'm buying that. I'm wearing it tomorrow. There's no scene where there's a scuba suit. There is now. Like, it just feels like there's no way you have this idea out of the blue. This had to have been spurred on by something you saw, and none of it makes sense. Like, we're looking for sunken treasure, and the sunken treasure is soap on a rope, and Mech gets thrown into the toilet, and he goes, "It went into an underwater cave," and he get the hell out of my scuba suit, and he pulls him out of the glass shower, which shatters everywhere, and there's water everywhere. He's like, "You better all find a job." Blah, 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 blah.
So you watched this before I did. And when I watched this, I said, I can't believe Alex made it through this when I saw the scene. And then this felt like in a movie where nothing is in place, this even felt out of place. Of like, this doesn't seem like the type of stupid he is to me. Like this felt there's something like too intentional about it all.
Yeah.
It was weird. Like, a lot of his dumb stuff is at least connected to something that happened earlier. He has a rig of sausages later, but it's connected to a comment that Betty said. Yeah. Like, this is just so like.
Well, he says, why are you wearing my scuba suit? And we never see him there, but there's a sign painted on the side of his truck, the dad, that says something about a marina he works at. So maybe his dad was in the Navy and like used to go scuba diving when he was younger, but now he doesn't anymore, but he still got the scuba suit because, you know, it's, I don't know, I'm not going to get rid of it. So his son has always been fascinated by it, and he puts it on to take a shower.
Giving it like, way too much credit.
I'm just saying, I can infer all of that other stuff up until he puts it on to take a shower in it. Everything else up until that point, I can just fill in the blanks in my head. The last part, you got me. I don't know. I don't understand. So
yeah, this felt unnecessary in a sea of unnecessary things. Like this was like a bridge even too far for the movie, I felt like.
So it is this next scene where he is sitting still somehow half in, half out of the scuba suit, having breakfast with his younger brother, where he's, you know, the younger brother is chiding him for, you know, being a fuck up and not having a real job and all this kind of stuff. And he refers to his younger brother as Freddy. And I do not know why it took me until this point in the movie to recognize that Tom Green is not playing Freddy of Freddy Got Fingered. That, oh no, his name is Gord. Like, I don't know why when they say gourd, I thought they were talking about a small pumpkin. You know what I mean? Like a gourd. I don't know why it didn't come into my head that his name is Gordon. Oh, he's not Freddy. The younger brother is Freddy. When I don't know why in my brain, I always assumed that the title Freddy Got Fingered not only applied to Tom Green's character, because why wouldn't it? He's obviously the lead in the movie. But also that there was a double meaning within it of got fingered. Yes, obviously, we know one of the connotations, but like when somebody says he did the crime, you say that guy got fingered for it. Some guy got fingered for a crime. So I thought he was going to wind up in jail, because somebody told the cops he did a thing that he didn't do. That is what I always thought that the title, Freddy Got Fingered, was about. Tom Green got put in jail for a crime he did not commit. None of those things are accurate.
No, Alex, it's so much worse than that. Like, so much.
It is the worst possible thing of that.
I caught on to the name earlier because I'm just a little bit better and more perceptive than you, I guess. But no, I just was like, nobody's named Gordo anymore. Nobody's named Gord. No Gordon,
right,
no Gordy, no Gords.
There's not a lot of Gordons. We're not making Gordons anymore.
Lizzie McGuire's friend was named Gordo around the same time as this.
Huh.
Tragically passed away in real life. No more Gordos.
No more Gordos.
Devastating.
So I have a job. I have a job. I'm going to my job. Your dad and I are making something of ourselves. I have to go to job. Like, oh, well, I'm going to look for a job. Fingers crossed that I get a job today, Freddy. And he just does the fingers crossed thing over and over and over again until it loses all meaning. And then we see Dad coming home.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Dad comes home from the marina. He better have got. I pay for that son of a bitch's college. He's sitting at home jacking off all day. He better have gotten a job. And so he comes in, and this is where Tom Green is wearing his suit backwards.
He's doing so much more than that, Alex.
He's wearing a suit backwards, and he is saying a phrase that makes no sense so many times that it loses all meaning.
What's he saying, Alex?
I think you should do it since you're the one who's decided you're going to portray the scene.
Backwards man. Backwards man. This was, when I was watching this, I was like, oh no, this is the cool beans of this, where I'm going to love it and it makes no sense and it's completely out of place and Alex is going to hate it. I'm going to love it so much.
It's completely in character for this guy to do this ridiculous fucking thing that makes no sense. So therefore, I wasn't at all like weirded out by it because according to the Sean here, according to the rules of this movie, this is a perfectly normal thing for him to do. The movie sets out rules from the very beginning that this guy would do a thing this absurd, and then he does it. So it was kind of more of a ho-hum thing for me.
Mention the rules. That's how we got into this mess in the first place.
Yeah,
Alex.
That is quite literally how you got assigned it. Because I wanted to hear you break down the rules of comedy as it relates to whatever this is.
That's the thing. Is this I cannot classify this as a comedy. It is more of a performance art piece than it is a comedy.
I did see somebody sent me a link to him on the Theo Vaughn podcast. Which
really?
Where he said he did intentionally try to set out to make a crazy movie. But also, he said that he was very bummed that Ebert and Robert didn't like it. Like, he said that he watched Ebert and Robert, and he's very serious. He's like, back then, if they hated your movie, that was it. And he's like,
yeah, that's true.
I can't believe that he thought there was a chance.
No.
Now, I will say that Ebert, a year later, brought up, I think, it was another Tom Green movie or something like that. And he said, I completely buried Freddy Got Fingered, but a year later, I remember it, and whatever I just reviewed, I will not remember ever again.
That is part of it. Like it is you will remember for the rest of your life watching a horrifying train wreck.
Yeah,
like in real life, you will remember this horrible thing that like, oh my God, how did this happen? You'll remember it forever. Everyone who was on the ground watching the Hindenburg explode remembers that day in full vividly, but they won't remember just a random movie they watched,
I can walk backwards faster than you can.
It's a nice cheese sandwich.
Thanks.
It is a nice cheese sandwich. Again, a brutal movie to watch if you're vegan because I can't even eat cheese sandwiches.
Oh. Well, I mean, you could eat them if they're Kraft singles because there's no actual cheese within that.
There are vegan cheeses.
Yeah, I know.
That's just not the same.
He says, "What are you doing wearing my suit backwards?" Wow.
You'll never stop me, not with my cheese helmet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
a helmet of cheese.
It's a helmet of cheese.
Looks great.
Yep.
Thanks. I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Yeah.
Backwards man.
It's such a waste of
I
cheese.
can walk fast backwards faster than you can.
It's not. It was about to go bad, and they're very thinly sliced anyway. I wasn't going to sacrifice good cheese for that,
Okay,
just
good.
so you know.
Good.
I
I'm glad.
I didn't know if it was
Um,
perhaps cheese that got sent to you in some way.
Somebody said, "Go wash your hair, buddy." I wore a hat under that.
Yeah, yeah.
Posing the business kid.
Yeah.
The WWE sentiment is the real question.
Yeah. So
Back to the backwards man.
It's like, did you even get a job? Yes, I got a job. I wanted to surprise you, which is why I'm wearing your suit backwards. I got a job doing computers at night. You're not bullshitting me. No. It's real. I got a job doing computers at night, and I wanted to surprise you. I was wondering if I could get some money for work supplies, like a trapper keeper. And it's like, here's $100. I'm so proud of you. He's got a job. Hot damn. And he does not, in fact, have a job. Yeah, I think a lot of what might have been explained had he lied to his father and girlfriend with the same lie, because he told the girlfriend that he works in stocks and bonds, and he told the dad he works during the day in stocks and bonds. Told the dad, I work at night in computers. And those, if you gotta keep the lie consistent in case such a thing that happens very soon here happens, where you've got it, like, you're caught in the lie from both sides.
That is true. That is true. Couple more chats, because I want to chip away at these while we go along here.
Yeah, please do.
We have an enabler in the chat that says, I can see why SRS wanted Alex to do this. Nailed it. Thanks for enabling this behavior. But James Zimmerman just said, holy crap. Well, there you go. That could have been in reaction to a lot of things on the stream. But is this like Sands of Wine, where we are trying to figure out what the three lies are about?
Oh, I should have done that. I should have thrown in some lies into here and seen if anybody in the chat would spot them.
Well, I was gonna say for future ones, but when we're back in control of this ship, okay.
Yeah.
Friend Will Gaming says, since someone already paid for my bum karaoke, Darby doing Feel Your Belt. We'll save that for later. You got a couple karaoke requests, mostly for the same song, but Ricky chiming in with $6 or $5 saying that he'll watch tomorrow. Thank you so much for sending money to this extreme silliness, as did Ellen Jeanette with a $1 chat. But
thank you.
You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much. There's over 7,500 of you watching right now. That's bananas to me, but
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah,
I think it's helped by our production and design in the background here. This is a fantastic background.
So he goes to another date wearing the suit, and he's hitting her in the legs with a riding crop this time, not the bamboo. And again, she's very gratified by this and would like to repay him in kind. And he talks about ratios, and
it's important discussion.
Okay, then you lead this part of the discussion.
Well, the ratio, he just wants to take her on a date. She's very horny. And I see what he did there. He wants to actually take her out because he's interested in who she is as a person. And he says that there's been a lot of dick sucking going on and that he wants to take her out on a date, and that the ratio of sucking to dating is just all out of whack here. Yeah. And that's just a sign of a stand-up guy, Alex.
Yeah. He's well, I mean, I would say normally, yes, but she seems to want to do the other thing more than what he is wanting. So he's basically negating her wants and needs, which I feel like doesn't make him a stand-up guy in this case.
I mean, I think he just wants there to be a fighting chance for the dates as well. He doesn't seem like, I don't want to have any blowjobs. That sounds terrible.
Right. Yeah.
He's just saying, I also want to go on dates.
he does also have now a fresh $100 bill from his dad burning a hole in his pocket.
Yes, he did not buy a
question is, the only question is, are those pockets on backwards? So he takes her out to a fancy dinner to celebrate, and everything. Well, not really celebrate, just for a date to a fancy restaurant. But his parents are also at this fancy restaurant on a date to celebrate him having a job.
Yes.
And he's very excited because he's working nights. So Rip Torn is very excited and expresses to Julie Haggerty how excited he is that he and his wife will now have their evenings for alone time. And then he licks his own teeth, which is a very odd way of signifying that.
As a gal, I can comfortably say not a turn on in any way, shape, or form. That's what you're into. That's cool, but in general, not so much.
Important note, hoping you noticed it.
Yeah.
Did you all catch the name of the restaurant?
I did not.
No.
It was Fancy Restaurant.
Oh, no, I just, they kept saying we are at a fancy restaurant. I'd assumed that
was the name of the restaurant, was Fancy Restaurant.
I see. Okay.
Well played.
Very good. So he is trying to impress his date, who really could not care less about stocks and bonds, with some things he printed out.
Charts.
Graphs. I have graphs to show what you want to do is when the stocks are high, that's when you want to sell. And when the stocks are down low, that's when you want to buy. And that is as much as I know, and also Cameron Grimes knew about the stocks.
Yes.
Was when they're high, they are to the moon, and that's when you want to sell them.
It's true. Her reaction to how this guy is speaking to her is a reaction that I and every woman have had on a date at some point in their life. Undoubtedly.
Yeah. Anyway, in order to help sell the lie, he has next to him in a very large briefcase a tape recorder of an old rotary phone ringing. And then he pulls out his cellular phone. The way he describes a cellular phone and what it is and what it does and how it works is funny. It's my cellular phone. It works with satellites and also terrestrial antennas to generate waves, and I can receive phone calls on it when I'm not.
It reminded me a little in Anchorman where Christina Applegate walks in on Will Ferrell, and he's counting his curls, I think, and he's like, it's connected to the upper dorsimus, and just starts naming muscles, and he's like, it's boring, but it's my life. It was the same kind of vibe of just like saying words to sound impressive.
Yeah. But also there's he's eating an entire fish.
Yeah,
does not seem to be. It's a fish, Kate. Like, it's not a bunny rabbit. Come on.
It's not even cooked, and he's just like, it's so gross.
I mean, I'm assuming it's cooked. There are a lot of dishes where you cook the fish without descaling it. I don't know why, but
he was eating it was like he just took it out of the water.
He was making it dance around. I don't know. It's bad. But also at this fancy restaurant is the Darby Allin boy,
yes,
with a shiner and a busted up nose, and he's there with his father. I don't think there's a mother in this family, so good for that dad for being the dad who stepped up.
Take a tax spot though, kid. Come on.
But anyway, would you like a piece of cake? Am I allowed a piece of cake, Daddy? Of course, it is your birthday. A lot of the dialogue between this man and his child does feel like it's a book for kids just learning how to read, published in 1940. You know what I mean? Would you like a piece of cake, son? Am I allowed a piece of cake, Daddy? Yes, it is your birthday. Yay!
Kids don't want to go to fancy restaurants for their birthday. They want to go to Pizza Hut. That's all.
there needs to be at least a minimum of one video game at any place you take a kid for their birthday. You know what I mean?
100%, and most adults. Let's be real. I'd rather go to Dave and Buster's any day.
This guy wants to go to Charles Entertainment Cheese, perhaps, or a Dave with a Buster.
Sure.
Involved. Anyway, so the Rip Torn says, he stands up and says to the waiter, "I have to spill some urine. Where might I do that?" The restrooms are
Such a
down the hall,
disgusting way to describe having to go to the bathroom.
Spill? How do you spill it? But anyway, on the
Look,
way
I'm
to
not like the girliest girl in the world, but some of this I was like, boys are just gross.
He walks in as on the way to the restroom. He sees the kid and the dad, and it's like, "Hi, how's it going?" And he says, "Oh, hey, you know, Gordo got a job. He's working nights at a computer's." "Oh, really? I just saw him over there at the same restaurant." Arr. And so he walks over there, and he's using the phone from their kitchen as his cellular phone. "This is my phone from the kitchen. What are you doing?" "There is no job. There's no computer job, is there?" And he's like, "No."
He keeps trying to call him Little Timmy.
That's right. This again, a trope from mostly sitcoms. "I am lying to the person I am with at this fancy restaurant. You know me, the truth about me. I am going to lie and call you somebody you are not. Please get the hint and play along so I can continue the lie with this person I am with." And the person never takes the hint, and it's always very awkward. So in these kinds of things, like, usually you would say, "Oh, yes, hello, Betty. Yes, this is the CFO of the company I work at. Hello, sir. It's so fun to see you out of the office, right?" And instead of that, he goes, "This is little Timmy. He goes and gets us food sometimes. Like his dad is the intern." Again, it's absurd, and you can take it into the absurd level, then that is fine. This movie could just be an absurdist movie without venturing into the horse penis. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing about it, like, to me, is that all this other stuff, you could do an absurdist movie, and the fun thing about an absurdist movie is it doesn't necessitate the chewing of an umbilical cord. You don't have to do that. You can do things that don't include that, though, you know?
Alex, I do fear that they felt it necessary.
Right. Yeah.
To dive into the horse penis, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did, this scene does get wacky. The line where he points out that she's in a wheelchair, and she goes, "What, you have a problem with my legs?" And he goes, "No, but you do." I was like,
no, he says, "Looks like you've got a problem with your legs."
Well done by Rip Torn.
Which is funny in a it's dark humor. That part I was like, but then he says, "Either that or you're just lazy." Now that's mean. You can be dark with your sense of humor, but then, like, I don't think people that on wheelchairs are lazy is weird. But
it felt like that character though, like, sincerely. Yeah. That sounds like something he would say.
Yes. So Tom Green takes offense to this and gets into a fight with his father, defending the honor of his date.
Yes.
And like, "I'm just going to leave," she says. "No, wait, Betty, come back." And they're still fighting. At one point, he reaches onto somebody's plate and throws green beans at his father, which, again, is an absurdist thing to do because he's an absurdist character. But
sure,
Rip Torn isn't. I mean, he is by the end of the movie, but right now he's not. He's just
he's just a hard ass.
So he picks up a bottle and throws it at his son, because that is something. Green beans, even if you hit me with them, aren't going to do anything. But I am angry with you. I'm going to throw a bottle at you. But he misses and hits the child in the face. The Darby Allin takes the brunt of the bottle, as opposed to youthful 4th grade Darby Allin takes it.
Yeah. He's entering to that theme, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and so they keep fighting, and they're fighting, and the waiter says, "This is a fancy restaurant. This is a fancy restaurant," and denoted by that, that there is a string quartet that is playing throughout it, throughout the scene, and he takes the violin from the string quartet and is playing crazy. This is a fancy restaurant. This is a fancy restaurant. And this is something that I noticed, and I was like, honestly, that's a cool technique to amplify the craziness underneath all of this. That old phone sound effect is still playing through the tape recorder.
Yes, I noticed that
And
too.
you
That
don't
was really
recognize
fun.
that it's still going. It's just part of the cacophony until the security comes in and shoots a gun in the air, and then everything else stops. But that phone is still ringing. And I was like, that was good filmmaking. That's one of the
What?
2 or 3 times in this entire movie I could say that was good filmmaking. Anyway, yeah,
Alex said a nice thing.
she bails him out of jail the next morning. And he says, she says, maybe you wouldn't have the writer's block, because we see him earlier having drawer's block, I suppose, doodler's block, because he can't figure out what to draw. And it's like, maybe if you just were able to, not be so, like, if you play some music or eat some food is inspiration. I can't eat food and draw and play music at the same time. She means play music on a CD player. But he heard play music as though to learn an instrument, and eat food as though everything must be done at the exact same time, which is why he says, I only have 2 hands, and she thinks he's making a joke, but he isn't.
I loved her reaction because I feel like she's trying to figure out if he's really this stupid a lot of the time that she's like falling in love with him. Because there's this hesitation and her laughing, like, and we've all had that moment too of like, is this actually a joke?
So this is where he rigs up a bunch of sausages connected to pulley systems, connected to his own fingers, while playing a keyboard, while having an artist's easel right next to him. And Darren comes in, still on crutches from his terrible leg injury. What are you doing, man? I'm being creative.
He was specifically doing all of those things at once, as she suggested.
Right? No, yeah, that's the idea.
That was noted. Watch the product.
I did have sausages for the show, but they're way too cold, man. They've been in the freezer.
Oh, no, that's too bad.
Well, I would not.
That's too bad.
Like some sausage, so I'm okay with that. But I feel bad for those that do.
We got to get you some Beyond sausages.
They make those. Even when I ate meat, though, that was not my breakfast meat of choice.
Yeah, but I mean, tofu dogs, would that work?
Ooh.
I mean, I'm just saying.
They're eating the tofu dog.
Some things even a vegan won't eat.
There's a lot of times where nobody wants to talk about being vegan, but like the substitutes ain't it. Like, just make something else. I like this from James Zimmerman, who just says, "Sorry, y'all."
Yes, we appreciate your pity. So
what happens next, Alex?
Is this Darren who says your dad's a real character?
Yes. So the one thing that I did appreciate about this, and again, anytime I say something nice about this movie, I fear I'm giving it too much credit.
Right.
But I do feel like there's a lot of creatives, or as they would say in Waiting for Guffman, creative types, whose creative processes are this stupid. Like that are like, oh, I had to do this exercise to get me to a creative play. And they're just like so full of crap. So I like, for example, my sister's an improviser, a phenomenal one of the best in the world. She was on a team, one of the longest running teams at the best school in the world for it. And there's like all these warm-up exercises you do, and she's like, yeah, like 90% of these don't do shit. Like, there's all these things. So I appreciated that about it. But then Darren does say that, but we are rigged up with the sausages, and he has meat earrings on, which I think is also of note.
Yeah, he's got like weird steak earrings attached to a shower cap. There is now this is their drawings of the dad now are part of the drawings now. Rip Torn's part of the drawings, and this is where he says he's a real character, and he is such a character that he is now here. He's here, and he yanks on the pulley system. He clips all the strings.
Well, what does Tom Green say?
He says, "Daddy, would you like some sausages?"
Yeah, I feel like we can't leave out the big line of the movie.
But this is the thing. But like everybody knows that part, Kate. That's the thing. We can just that's like it's like. Well, I'm gonna spend time dissecting "May the Force be with you." We already know that line. So we're moving past this. You know what I mean?
Knows
important line.
It's the most important line, and I would say most people know about Backwards Man, and I gave you a performance for Backwards Man.
I would also argue not that many people know about these lines, but something.
If they know one, they
Daddy,
know
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages?
Well, we've got an important note here. This is officially the longest review of Freddy Got Fingered in recorded history.
Honestly, I had no idea what we were trying to beat, but I knew that was the most important thing to you. So
it was a review from 3 years ago that got about 18 views.
Okay.
And it checked in at 2 hours and 28 minutes.
I didn't know if we were trying to beat 3 hours and 15. Some people, they have these really long reviews now, and I'm like, I can't sit and watch
I would never.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, bless StreamYard for having the start option there. But either way, I would argue this is, in fact, the most in-depth Freddy Got Fingered review. And I would also argue this. The most cohesive, linear review that the three of us have ever been on together.
It's very true. Yeah.
On-topic review.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
That we've ever done together. Congratulations on making his.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Notice how we are most on topic when Sean is not on screen. But Lucky Vice asked the under-over on this. Yeah. And more important than beating the line is beating the record. But I was feeling like it'd be around 3 hours because I figured there would be some pomp and circumstance at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But we appreciate you asking for the under-over. I would say 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's where the line is.
Yeah. So we're crossing that line. So yes, Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? He plays it on the thing. There's really not much to that particular. It's everyone knows that from the trailer. It is obviously very absurdist, but it's just a vehicle to get his dad extra angry, so the next thing can happen that Tom Green then reacts to, which is he yanks on the thing, pulls him up so like he's up here like this, like he's in sync at the beginning of the Bye 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 video, and then he clips all the things, and then he goes out. He's lost it. He's yelling and everything, and Julie Haggerty's like, "You need to go outside and cool off." Julie Haggerty's great.
She's wonderful. So good.
And anyway, he goes out and he does not cool off. He attaches a winch to the front of his truck, and he pulls the half pipe out of the carport into the middle of the street, and then he runs over it with his car at very high speeds while cackling like a madman. He seemed I would go so far as to say that I do believe that Tom Green's mental imbalances are actually hereditary, and they come directly from his father. Do you have a history of mental illness in your family? A resounding yes for this particular family.
And it only gets more unhinged with our dear Rip Torn too. So
Mhm.
I am inclined to agree. I did like the moment of like your dad's the character, because it feels
Sure.
like we get the line in the beginning of like, none of this makes sense, it's stupid. And you're like, oh, I know what this movie is going to be. And then the next thing that kind of like clicks as an actual movie point is like, hey, your dad's the real character in this.
Yeah.
So there are at least like these moments where you can be like, okay, this is where the story's going and where it's going to follow.
Yeah. Part of the blow up that causes Julie Haggerty to tell him to go outside and cool off is where he says to Tom Green in a very odd statement that just seems out of left field. If this were Pakistan, you'd have been sewing soccer balls when you were 4. And I just trucked it up when I watched this the one and only time in my entire life. I chucked
So
that
far.
up. I chucked that up to just him being an old conservative dad. You know what I mean? Like
it's
just
very
saying you'd have
dad
had
from
it
that
so much
70s
Don't
show. Like,
you quit your
yeah.
belly aching. If you lived in a third world country, it'd be so much worse. All I told you was not to mess with the thermostat. You know, like
It's definitely one of those
things.
Of like, it also is like, you want to pursue your silly animator dreams. Like get a
Sure.
practical job if this were
Part of
somewhere
that.
else, right?
Part-
But it is
partly that.
even like the way the volume of his voice is, it's positioned as a throwaway line until it's super not.
When after the dad drives away, he's like, "Hey, that's not fair. He's disrespecting you. If I were you, I would go out and have lots of sex with athletes, men from Greece." And she goes, "Oh, honey, no," because she's Julie Haggerty and she's fantastic. She makes it
Fantasy
into some.
booking your mom having sex is weird.
Well, yeah.
As a woman on the internet, it's people are weird about that stuff. So this was more relatable than it should have been. But all right.
Yeah. So when we go right into family therapy,
we sure do.
It's just the 3 of them, though. Notably,
correct. Freddy is not present.
Yeah, Freddy, the younger brother, is not present. So, because he's pissed at his dad, he comes up with an obvious lie that my dad takes my brother into the basement and fingers him. Not only does the therapist believe this immediately, but so does the mother. The wife of this guy, Julie Haggerty's like, "No, tell me it's not true." And obviously it's not true. Not just because Tom Green is an unreliable source, but also because the younger brother is 25.
Correct.
This, of course, is the title of the movie. Freddy Got Fingered. So everyone believes that this is the thing that happened. And when they show up at Freddy's apartment, he says no. And they say, "It's okay. You don't have to hide it anymore. We'll take you somewhere where you can be safe." And I think that the belittling of the actual horrible thing of child molestation by their own parents and mining it for comedy is probably the darkest part of this movie. You know, at one point we see Freddy having been taken to a home for kids who are being abused, and all of the kids are running around crazy. And in the media room, they're all seated, dutifully watching the television, which is playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And a boy about 9 is like, don't worry, it gets better. It's okay. And he's wearing a t-shirt. They're all wearing matching t-shirts that say no more secrets. And this is where Freddy lives the rest of his life. At a home for abused children.
Yeah, this was like the only part that so much of the movie is grotesque and gross and absurd. This is the only thing that I was like, objectionable. Like, this is of anywhere they should have stopped things. Like, probably where, especially like today, they would have stopped things. Not only because of like the false allegation stuff of it all, but it's just kind of a really like gross and unnecessary detour of everything, and it has the name of the movie has very little to do with what all this
is. It has nothing to do with anything. Maybe the most absurd thing about the movie is the title of the movie.
I called this. There's also just like, I'll suspend disbelief for something that tells me it's stupid from the beginning most of the time. That's why I can review wrestling.
Right.
But the idea that like he threw a bust at the window and jumped out it, and they were like, that guy probably was telling,
that guy's definitely telling the truth.
Sound judgment and telling us this.
Right.
And then of course, like Freddy's an adult, like there was no evidence of anything. They come to take him away. I will say it was nice to see a person of color get cast as a therapist. That was also something that just didn't happen in the 2000s. It was just white people in every role all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a ton of that in this movie, but I was like, nice to see, because man, you go back and watch some other stuff, not so much.
No.
She takes her role very seriously, and this home that Freddy goes to live at is not a thing. And then the thing that they're portraying it as is just like, no. Mm-hmm. This is the only thing that like. There was plenty that I didn't like seeing, obviously, in this movie. But this was where I was like, if I had made it this far, I would have turned it off here if I wasn't watching this for a review, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And he says, my dad does not finger me. It's okay. It's okay. You don't need to lie anymore. We will take you someplace where your dad can't hurt you anymore. He is 25 years old and he lives in his own apartment.
When they show up, they're looking for little Freddy. Like, they're looking for a kid.
Yes.
And then they see him and are like, oh, I guess we're taking him away.
Right. Yeah. Jim says, I'll get you a lawyer, as though he's being arrested for something, but he is not. This is, she's leaving him because of this. Like, she's leaving her husband because of this.
Well, it's the next scene with him showing his butt, right? That she's like, this is actually a pattern of behavior.
This is where Tom Green actually now has all the ideas to start making his new cartoon.
Right.
And here comes the dad, who's completely drunk with whiskey. And he tears up all of his drawings and he's going crazy. Well, because he ruined his life. He lied about everything.
Sure.
And I get it. And then, of course, part of it is, he says, fuck you, Dad. It's like, which is what you would say to your father if he came in drunk and tore up all of your drawings you've been hard at work on. But then he says, do you want to fuck me? That is a different thing than fuck you.
That is.
So then
he like wipes his ass with the drawings first, and that's how we get bare ass ripped torn, and then
takes down his pants, and so we can see that. But also, then here comes the wife to see him, showing his bare buttocks to his son, which confirms everything for her, and that is why, in Dad, she leaves.
He like screams that it's out of context, but her perception of it, she doesn't even see Tom Green. She just sees Rip Torn. Being like, well, fuck my ass then, basically.
Yes, she does.
Like,
and
just
she drops a cup of tea in slow motion on the steps.
That she does.
Yep. So he's like, He says, "You're nothing. You've always been nothing. You'll always be nothing. So ashamed of you." And this is where this is where Moby plays, as in during a driving rainstorm. He's, "Oh Lordy, my troubles with God."
The soundtrack ruled.
It's a great song, but it's been done. And again, this is a fun, in a different movie. This will be played for very serious. In a driving rainstorm, he doesn't throw away his drawings at the house. He takes them to a trash can on a street as it's pouring down rain in slow motion and throws them away. As, "Oh Lordy, like, it's ridiculous."
Insanity.
Yeah. He goes to get a job. He gets a job at a it says must have experience making cheese sandwiches, I believe is what it says, the Hope Wanted sign says. And then he goes and he goes to do a little little check on the wheelchair progress, but it's not working out. And it didn't work. Yeah, like I'm just gonna give up. It's like, why are you gonna do that? This is more of the connection between the two of them being made very obvious. You know what I mean? Like there's ways of doing the scene where it's not written by a 10-year-old, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. He's making fun of her. "Oh, look at me. I'm going to get my rockets to work." He doesn't have to be mean.
He is this immature the entire movie, though. So, like,
sure.
I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah, he is. And then the guy, he didn't get enough cheese in his sandwich at the cheese shop. So Tom Green's like, in another movie, "Oh, you didn't give enough cheese? Open it up, put 4 or 5 pieces of cheese in there. Is that enough cheese for you?" You know what I mean? But no, in this movie, it's all of the cheese. Like, it's all of the cheese. All of the cheese in Wisconsin was transported to this cheese shop, and then he put all of it on the thing. And he's like, "I'm going to get you fired." "Oh, he wouldn't want me to lose all this glorious job that I've got."
It is an absurd amount of cheese. It does feel like enough cheese on a cheese sandwich is the one thing you really have to get right.
Yeah.
The scene with Betty is kind of like, it sounds so silly to say because it's so stupid, but like the continuation of the idea from before of like, well, I don't give up on something if it doesn't work out for me right away. And he now, like, because it still hasn't worked out for him, comes back to mock that. She's working on her rocket wheelchair.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. This is where the kid is watching them, basically her leaving in a cab, and because the kid and the dad are outside playing ball, the kid is watching this and not watching the ball, and then he gets hit in the mouth with the baseball thrown by his father, and he bleeds because he lost some teeth. The kid really didn't have it good. But now we see that she on the TV at his job, we can see
you would think Child Protective Services might stop across the street.
Perhaps.
Like CPS is coming by. This kid is getting his ass kicked constantly. Yeah.
This is the thing that this is the way the movie works to me, is that he is watching a news report on the TV as he's cleaning up from his sandwich making job. And the news report is of the girl who made a rocket-powered wheelchair. And because this movie is what this movie is, I thought he was going to be like, "Wow, she did it." And then it was going to explode in a fiery wreck. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that's what this movie was. You know what I mean? And then it didn't. It worked. She's successful. And so why couldn't he also be successful? And then also,
he does say he has to resign from his, he like says, "I have to exit the sandwich industry once again, or so the way he articulately phrases it popped me.
Yeah, his boss, the manager, who is a 12-year-old boy, walks up to him and says, "Do you think I'd pay you to stand here watching TV? Get back to work." Although I respect your position of authority, sir, I am once again going to have to exit the sandwich making industry. And then he leaves. His dad's going. His dad's gone nuts. Bullshit. You're grounded. I'm 28 years old. And so he gets in his Chrysler LeBaron and he runs away. But that's my car. I bought that. You're a thief. And then he goes and visits Darren at the bank. He beats him up. Where'd my son at? And he kicks him in his broken leg. What a mean guy.
Rip Torn, well cast. I will say the movie was well cast pretty much all around.
Yeah. Again, Tom Green drove the entire way from Portland to Los Angeles in his LeBaron wearing his uniform from the sandwich shop. And he is able to get in to meet with Mr. Davidson. And apparently Rip Torn also drove the entire way from Portland to Los Angeles to stop to follow his son. And so he shows him the drawings. He's like, okay, well, this is better. It's about a family of zebras that moved to America. And he's drawn him his entire family, including Rip Torn. It's like they're a fish out of water, but it's a zebra out of water, which again would be funnier in a different movie, but that didn't have horse penises in it because I just kept waiting. I kept waiting for that. Like, you can't do like so much horse penising in a movie and then make them into like centaur zebras and then not have me think that it's going to end up with zebra penises, because that's what I thought. Yeah,
Alex, I've always said this. If you're going to introduce enormous horse penises into your movie, you got to pay them off. I've always said it.
They did something else off to a different animal's penis later in the movie, but yeah.
Were the hooves not good enough for you?
The hooves haven't happened yet. We'll talk about the hooves when the hooves happen. So Rip Torn comes in. Drew Barrymore says, "What are you doing?" And he throws her into a bunch of, they're not actual nuclear waste. They're lamps that look like they're nuclear waste barrels.
They're just green lit up bins with nuclear waste logos on them.
Yeah. So the Mr. Davidson, Anthony Michael Hall, is about to be like, I don't buy it. I don't buy that a dad could be like this. And then the dad comes in and throws Tom Green into a shelving unit on the wall, and then starts chasing around Davidson. So he's gonna say, "Oh, this is what a great part of the presentation this is." Well,
I've never seen such a creative pitch. Yeah,
what a great pitch! What a great pitch this is. And they carry him away. Security does. And he says, "Wow, this is great. This is what I love. This bit. This is perfect. What a great pitch. Here, I would like to give you money.
I will give you $1 million on site."
How does $1 million sound to make your your animated show?
Which means we went into the wrong thing by going into podcasting. We should have been animators.
Yeah. We should have been animators in 1999. That's the most important.
Sour Craps, Adult Swim. Could work.
Yeah. So he takes the money and now he makes his zebra cartoon. This is where "It's My Hooves" came from. I'm frankly, I'm happy because when like, "Oh, look at my hooves, look at my hooves," in this movie could have easily been about like him wearing a donkey carcass. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like, I'm happy that it was just this. It doesn't make any friggin' sense. Look at my hooves. He just keeps saying, "Look at my hooves."
It is benign. which not a lot of things in this movie are.
Mhm.
It is neutral.
Yeah. And it's like his dad is so crazy. Look, my dad he was crazy before, but America really made him crazy. And then his dad grabs his lower jaw and rips it off, then ties his zebra legs to the back of his car and drives at very fast speeds until his front teeth grind down. And then he says, "Look at my hooves some more."
I do appreciate that at least the movie pays itself off and that the movie is the thing that makes him $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Like they very could have easily just not done that and made this completely incohesive, but they did a thing.
Speaking of things that aren't cohesive, he drives back from Portland, and when he gets there, a shark is riding shotgun. There's a shark, like in the convertible, splayed out across the front and back seat, and the trunk and the windshield. And the shark, he's picked up a hitchhiker, and the hitchhiker is a shark.
Correct.
And that's never explained.
Nope. It just happens.
And he goes to the bank, and now his friend Darren, who got beat up by his dad, is now in like a neck halo and in a neck brace, a back brace. He says, "I want you to cash this check for $1 million." I want $100,000. He gets very excited at one point, and he gyrates on a man in line at the bank. He gyrates on a man. He rubs his clothed nether regions all over the pants of a man in the line at the bank. Don't do that to Mr. Lee, I believe is what Darren says.
He does feign that he's going to be financially responsible, of being like, I'm going to put this in savings, but he's
I would like you to give me $100,000 in cash and then put the rest in my checking savings account. What are you going to do with $100,000?
The man who was passing himself off in stocks.
So
he
takes a helicopter. He is in a military helicopter that's like painted with camouflage and everything, and he goes to the window of his former girlfriend's apartment, and he says, "Betty, look at me, I'm flying, I'm a bird, caw caw." He says, "Meet me on the roof." And I don't know, like usually there's not an elevator that goes to the roof in buildings like this. It goes to the top floor, and then there's a flight of steps that get to the roof. So I don't even know how she got there. You know what I mean? Anyway, because the wheelchair. But this bit scored to "When a Man Loves a Woman, you can't keep his mind on nothing new." It's a wonderful choice for that part in the soundtrack. She can't hear what he's saying, even though he's screaming, because of the helicopter.
Yeah, that got me pretty good.
I bought you jewels, he says. Please, I got them all for you. But Gord, I don't care about jewels. All I wanted was to suck your cock. You can't say she's not consistent,
She is one of the most consistent things in the movie.
Very, very, very consistent.
And he's a lucky guy. Awesome.
It's very possible, since I believe Megan is from the Pacific Northwest, if not Portland. Perhaps she lives in the very same building that Betty lived in 20 years ago, and there's an the elevator always goes to the roof. This is not one of those like rooftop gardens, though. There is a helipad on the top of this roof.
There's a helipad on top of the roof.
Yeah. He at one point he just says, I gotta go, but flops around like this. I gotta go. And he says, "Where are you going to go?" "I got to go see my daddy," he says. Now, his dad, for all he knows, is in jail in Los Angeles because he was carried out of a place for assaulting the head of an animation studio in Los
nobody
Angeles.
would bail him out either because, like, his wife is no
Who
longer
would
with
bail
him.
him out? But apparently,
Maybe Freddy.
He drove.
Oh, but Freddy's
Tom
in
Green, I think that's what it is. His dad beat him home back to Portland because Tom Green had to stop off at the beach and befriend a shark that he brought back with him. So took longer for Tom Green to get back to Portland than it took for Rip Torn to get back to Portland, which is how Rip Torn is safe and sound in his bed when Tom Green comes in dressed like something out of Call of Duty or something.
That's a smart movie. That's a smart movie right there.
Yeah.
Sure.
He comes in to the house wearing night vision goggles, and it's at a Splinter Cell, which is a very big popular video game back at the time this came out, in full stealth military gear. And Rip Torn wakes up and he shoots him with a tranquilizer dart.
I did laugh when he tranked his dad.
I thought to myself at the time, why would he do that?
Well,
I mean, if you had asked me, why do you think he tranked his father, and gave me a million guesses, I never would have come up with what it was actually for. So he's talking to a contractor. There's a construction crew at the house, and when he said something like, "This isn't practical," I was like, "Yes, this is the movie. The movie is impractical. If
That's
there's ever
the movie you're in.
a practical, like, it'll take 30 men. This isn't. Why are see that this part, Mr. Brody? That's the trickiest part. It's going to take 30 men. He's building the biggest skate ramp ever. I thought that'll show my dad. I'm going to use this money to build the biggest skate ramp in the history of the world.
Nope.
That's what I thought. What else would he be hiring a construction crew for? I thought. And then he does some math and he says, okay, I spent $100,000 on the jewels and $150,000 to rent the helicopter. But that leaves me with $750,000. And
easy come, easy go.
Yeah. All this money, it's gone now. Easy come, easy go. He's paying the contractor to do something. We don't know yet.
I had no idea Tom Green won so many AEW All-Star tags as a part of this. I just think that's so great that he got all of his money as backup. But I can confidently say I did not see the end of this movie.
No.
I didn't see most of this, but this was a surprise.
So Rip Torn wakes up. He's got an IV and it's needle stuck in him, takes that out, goes in the bathroom. The faucet doesn't work. "What's this Band-Aid on my neck?" he says. And then he opens the door, and part of the house, a portion of the house, has been transported from Portland, Oregon, to the remote Pakistani desert. I'm going to go ahead and say, even in 1999, 2000 money, 750 G's isn't enough to get that done. Like the logistics alone of putting that on a ship and getting it from there because then you got to go over land after that point. Like, that would be really impractical. I just don't think it would. I feel like you could transport your dad to Pakistan while he's under the under the tranquilizer, and then build a brand new house that looks exactly like your house in Pakistan for like a quarter of what it would cost to transport the actual house. But again, everything in this movie is the most impractical decision.
I also question how strong that tranquilizer is, because that's got to take some time.
That's like, maybe the IV was just giving him a very small drip of that tranquilizer for several weeks, because that's how long it would take to put that on a boat and get it to Pakistan. And so he says, "Hi, Daddy. We're in Pakistan. I thought we could sew some soccer balls together." And this is the longest route any movie has ever taken to pay off a joke. Literally, from Portland to Pakistan is the longest route anyone's ever taken to pull off any joke.
I find it funny that both of the movies that we were asked to review have this like need for a dad to be proud of them when the dad's kind of an asshole, and it does so in the most impractical route that you could possibly take, like both Hot Rod and this.
What was the operative word there? Proud. Proud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, proud. So he drives around with the house still on this weird flatbed truck extendo thing, and at some point he crashes and the house falls over, and he does like the Buster Keaton stunt where he stands in the exact right spot for the window hole to miss him, and then his dad chases him because his dad wants to kill him, and they're running through the Pakistani desert. You didn't know I could run this fast, did you? Ha 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 ha. So he ends up in a tent, like a circus tent, but there's no other acts. It's a big tent, and inside the tent is an elephant. That's where Tom Green runs to, and Rip Torn is chasing him. And he says, "Daddy, look what I can do." And he points the elephant's penis at his father, and he rubs the elephant's penis until the elephant reaches sexual climax and ejaculates all over his father in a fire hose of elephant ejaculate.
This happens all very quickly, and it's very jarring.
It is. I you know what? Honestly, though, even if it happened at a very slow pace, I feel like it would also be jarring to see the elephant ejaculate.
It would, but I mean from the perspective of the end of this movie includes him in a helicopter on a helipad going to see her, give her jewels, tranking his dad, going to Pakistan, elephant ejaculate. This all happens so fast. And I guess it's good to rip off the Band-Aid to get it over with. Mm-hmm. But it's all a lot. And
yeah, Band-Aid, that's what we'll call it.
Yeah. I mean, I listen, at least, like, here's the deal. You know, we know what they say about marijuana being a gateway drug. Perhaps horse penises are gateway penises to larger and more
gateway
impactful penises. Because that's what it is. You know, he got started small, relatively speaking. Relatively speaking, considering where he wound up.
Comparatively, fair enough. You've said several times on this review that you wish there was less horse penis. Do you also wish there was less elephant penis as a reviewer? Or is one an appropriate?
Wow, really?
No,
I thought you'd go the other direction on that.
Zero is more. Zero is more than I ever wanted to see.
And we are in
the number of elephant penises I want to see in any movie that I watch is a negative number. It starts with a little minus sign, and then you could put any integer you want after that.
Okay.
Zero is too much. One
definitely
is far beyond what I would accept.
We're in a film age where penises are a lot more prevalent these days. It's just back then you would happen to see more animal penises for some reason.
It's true. Aren't there whole shows in Britain where there's just the whole thing is dicks on TV?
Yeah, it was Naked Attraction. That was an experience.
Yeah,
there you
go. That was an experience.
Is
that it? Is that the movie?
I mean, no, it's not. I'm getting to this thing where that he sprays him so much with the ejaculate that his dad falls over, and then Tom Green gets kicked in the head by the elephant. I guess the elephant didn't like being molested that way, and then they end up lying together in the sand, and this is where Tom Green says, "Hey, I sold my drawings for $1 million. I'm an animator now. I have my own TV show." And Rip Torn says, "Wow, you really are a very good doodler." I know we've had proud. I know we've had our differences, but maybe I made you proud. You're proud. And if the movie had ended there, it would have been a better movie. The thing about this that's so weird to me is Pakistan is such a specific choice.
Forgot about this.
It's such a specific choice, but it predates 9/11. The writing, filming, and release of this movie predates 9/11. Like the idea of Americans being held hostage by terrorists in the Middle East was a thing that was very, very niche and would be a very odd thing to put in any movie. And
gave it some indie cred. Gave it some real indie cred.
I suppose, yeah. Other working title for this, Zero Dark 30 Horse Penises. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's possible. They could have come up with that. But so they are kidnapped by Pakistani terrorists and held in captivity. For 18 months.
And they show us captivity is not the worst over in their circumstances. Well, they're like drinking beers and gambling, aren't they?
No, they're playing Russian roulette, Kate.
I was a little tuned out at this point in the movie, Alex. Okay.
They're drinking and playing Russian roulette with their captors.
I genuinely thought they were like throwing quarters.
Neither of them are losing. But yeah, it's maybe they're not playing Russian roulette. Maybe they're just playing with a gun. I don't know. They look like playing Russian roulette. But a news that you know what? They are gambling on which of them can drink the most. But there is a gun at the table. So I assumed the gun was used for Russian roulette because that's from Deer Hunter. I thought the movie was actually doing a spoof from Deer Hunter, and it's not. Anyway, this is where we see all of this is being shown that they have been in captivity for 18 months, and we're trying to get them back from. They're doing negotiations with the terrorists to get them back, and this news report is being broadcast to Julie Haggerty in bed. Her hair is all permed now. She's got lots of very dramatic makeup. She's in bed with Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, that Shaquille O'Neal.
And he's heartbroken.
Yeah.
He's like, you still love him. I learned, I love you. I learned how to bottom hump for you. That's basically what Shaquille O'Neal says to Julie Haggerty.
Yeah. I got my nipples pierced.
That's right.
I got my nipples pierced for you. Can your ex-husband do this? And then he violently thrusts at the air on his back. That's the only scene he's in. He seems very upset that his main squeeze maybe has.
He committed to it, man.
He certainly did.
But she took her son's advice.
She
Yes.
did. She
We
went
don't
out and
know
had
about
sex
any
with
Greek
athletes.
men, but
You know,
she
yeah,
did go
but
have
she
sex
did
with
go
men.
out and
Yeah,
she slept
yeah.
with an athlete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had this movie been made 20 years later, she would have gone out and had sex with Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is not only an athlete, but he's also a Greek
Also
man.
Greek. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been the perfect gag.
Both of
Two
them,
bird
yeah.
stones at once.
Famous Greek athletes in the States. But they've grown their hair very long.
Yes.
In their beards very long while in captivity. They are brought home to a roaring crowd of approval. And one guy holding a sign saying, "When will this movie end?"
It's miraculous.
And this is where everyone's waving. Everyone from the movie's there. Betty is there. Darren is there, fully healed from his injuries, and also the little boy there that we've affectionately dubbed Baby Darby Allen and his dad.
Dave Darby.
And he runs out to give them, I think, a hug, and directly into the propeller of the airplane, like the mechanic in that fight in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And he's like, "I'm fine."
The "I'm fine" that he says was added in post.
Sure. Yeah.
That was necessary to get the R rating and not an NC-17. The MPAA said, "We can't have a small child decapitated by a propeller on an airplane." And they were like, "What if we dubbed in that he says, 'I'm fine'? That's all right. You get an R." They were going to give it an NC-17 for that.
This was the tipping point, not the elephant ejaculate.
No. That's fine. That's an R. That's okay. But the we don't even see him get hit.
We don't see him.
We just see a spray of blood. That's all we see. And the MPAA said, "Have you no decency, sir?" And Tom Green said, "Have you seen the movie?" "No, I don't. I don't have any decency." None whatsoever.
It's like the Team America puppet scene. We talked about that the other day. That they were like, "You have to revise it," and they made it 10 times worse, and they just didn't review it.
Also, watching this news broadcast of them coming home is the brother, who is also, his hair is really long and his beard's really long. He's still in the same place. He's still in the same home for molested kids, but he's in captivity because they won't let him cut his hair or shave his beard.
This was important culturally for a couple of reasons. It was nominated for, it actually won a number of Golden Raspberry Awards.
That's right.
Which
yes.
Tom Green won and showed up and accepted and performed on stage until he was forced off the stage. But Rip Torn was actually nominated for Worst Supporting Actor. And I love this because it was 18 years after he was nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Cross Creek. Some of the, you know what? I'll go ahead and ask you guys. Let's do an out of 10. What do you give it?
Are we in the Tokyo Dome?
We're out of 10, out of a 0 to 10 rating.
I feel like half is generous, and it's only for
God, that would be incredibly generous. Yeah,
for the moments like with him and Betty that are like sincere. I like, so I'll give it half a star out of 10.
I'd give it a solid 3.1 out of 10.
Okay.
Because there were some things that I looked at and I found them stupid funny, and I would probably reserve anything less than that for something that I didn't find any entertainment value in whatsoever at any stage.
I'm gonna bump it up half a star for Backward Span because I did audibly laugh at that. So I'll give it 1 star out of 10.
Alex,
as a movie, it 0. As a movie, it gets 0 stars. As a performance art piece, I honestly don't know how to the outtakes that run during the outtakes that run during the credits are even worse. Like
they're pretty bad, yeah.
But the
he
thing
knows they're bad. He admits they're bad.
Yeah, but the thing that honestly still makes me think that he was just trying to get somebody to tell him to stop. Like the small child that just wants the attention, so they'll act out doing stuff that they know they'll get grounded for, because at least that's better than their parents not giving a damn.
Mm-hmm.
There's an outtake during the credits, the last one that rolls, where he's wearing the deer carcass, and he's like, cut, we got it. Drops it and what the hell am I doing? Like that to me doesn't read as a guy who thinks this is great. People are gonna love this. It reads to me as a guy who's like, I got nothing. I'm coming up with the craziest shit I can think of, and no one is stopping me from doing it. What? No, I shouldn't be allowed to do this.
He worked himself into a shoot and then shot everyone else into a work because the world was willing to see how far he would go as well.
Yes.
At that stage. And you didn't give me a number, by the way.
I said 0 out of 10 as a movie. As a performance art piece, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. Do I think it was successful as a performance art piece? No, because I think most people don't view it as that. So, no, I don't know. A 1 out of 10 as a performance art piece and a 0 out of 10 as a movie.
Okay. Google has it 3.8 out of 10. And that is, and you might say, well, how does it end up with a middle of the road? Because almost all the reviews are either 5 stars or 1 star, which I think is pretty indicative. 13% on Metacritic, 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't like the Rotten Tomatoes method of just if everybody thinks it's just more favorable than not, whatever. IMDb has it at a 4.7, which, and this is out of 54,000
That's crazy.
reviews. Yeah.
Should we get through these last chats? Oh, go ahead.
Please. I was just saying that if people feel the need to consume Tom Green's work, I'm sure some of it is on, YouTube from the Tom Green Show, but if you need a comedy from that era, Road Trip is far more digestible in that like college age type of thing. You know how they say that like, oh, well, Vince Russo was successful because he had a filter.
Yeah.
He had Todd Phillips in Road Trip.
Yeah.
And Todd Phillips even did some wild stuff.
Yeah.
But like he had a filter there. And I think there's a pretty good reason why they both ended up with very similar budgets. Yeah. And one barely broke even and the other one made like $120 million.
There you go.
I mean, speaking of like the idea of this thing as a movie, the way that Road Trip is a movie, you can find summaries of this that just tell you the plot. Like 28-year-old Gordon Brody moves to Los Angeles to become an animator, but when his work is rejected, he moves back home to Portland, Oregon, and his father is very upset by this. He can't seem to find a job, unlike his younger brother Freddy, who they just take away all of the gags, all of the gross out stuff and just tell you the plot of the movie, and it just seems like a really boring movie. So without all of the sight gags and shock value, it's just nothing.
Well, it's something. I just don't know what it is. But this has
Neither
been
do they.
fun. Do we have any chats remaining?
I'm sure.
Oh, we got a lot. We got
got a
Jesse
lot.
Ozog saying, normally I would quote something like, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so, from Hamlet. But the bard did not imagine whatever this repulsive, repellent, noxious, vile, loathsome abomination might be. Thank you, Jesse Ozog, our resident Shakespeare
I would
scholar.
imagine a lot of Hamlet read on this set as they filmed.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah. Rafael Garcia saying, for your long and suffering torment, in the words of Patrick Starr, I have $3. May this review be as long, but not longer than the movie. I just left, where a boy attempts to eliminate the demon Michael Jackson. Everything sucks, especially Freddy. Thank you for the chat. Let's plow through some more of these. Then in the H saying, I have no idea what is happening. Neither do we. I will watch this review tomorrow so I can figure it out. But I do appreciate y'all watching this because I could never remember the puppets. It's the only thing getting us through.
This movie yielded a better return than but this review did.
Hell yeah. Did we break even?
I'm still pretty satisfied, all things considered.
Okay.
That roughly half was conjured up.
Okay.
Roughly half.
All right.
Better than I thought that I
preceding
I
chats that were big too before this, so we're chipping away. We're chipping away.
Oh no, I've got the totals already. I see the totals along the side.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Eugene saying, I hate Tom Green in all his movies. Well, then did we have the review for you, or did we not have the review for you? Either one of those things for sure. Crazy 101 saying Freddy Got Fingered review before GTA 6. Thank you so much.
I would love to see Tom Green as a radio host in GTA 6. I think that would be very fitting.
There you go. James Zimmerman saying, did Tom Green predict the future of Adult Swim when talking to that executive?
I mean, it seems like it.
He might have laid the groundwork. Single Blue Note Panda asking, is my sister was on a Herald team? But she was on Bastion, and then she moved to a weekend team, and then a bunch of people got famous, and she taught around the world. So yielded good results. Insert Clevin Nixon Newell pun saying, here's some money for your troubles and a puppet pun. Dr. Nixon Honey Newell. Thank you so much.
Very good.
What else we got? I actually seen this in the theater. One of my many regrets. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. I regrettably saw in theaters Old School with my parents. They're pretty cool, but that was a situation where we did not know what we were getting into, and it was awkward to sit in between. Though my dad popped it, you got a fucking dart in your neck, pretty loud.
Shout out Tom William Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Valley saying there's a PG cut of this movie. It's 3 minutes long. We covered that. Know your facts. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Thank you for the chat. C. Delgado throwing a few pennies our way. Thank you so much. Another $2 from Artie. Thank you. Just getting started. Grandma's boy next. Asked Alex Ramirez. No, we are getting back to the heart and soul of the intentions of this review.
Well, excuse me. Excuse me. Kevin Nash is in that movie.
Please stop. Can't we take a break from
Kevin
this?
Nash is in that movie.
I don't want. We want something else. It's not this. There's got to be other
things.
things.
Suggestion. We will add it to the queue.
Yes, thank you. That should be added to the queue. I'm looking right now.
Far back of the queue. What LT Photo saying, thank you for doing this. Remember, it's for the puppets, SGS rules, SRS. I can't believe that you made the puppets happen. I was delighted by the fact that happened as well.
We'll see when they get here. It's supposed to, my gosh, about a month and a half away already.
I know. I was going to say, it's zooming by. Chess Mask does wrestling saying gotta support the Puppet Fund. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Orion Ben saying FGF fantastic for the opening 10 minutes is greater than the rest of the film. I love that. Freddy Got Fingered and Fantastic Four both. Oh boy, Alex has gotten to the stud horse farm for the love of Dong Phallus. Thank you so much for the chat. The Chrysler LeBaron got 9 miles to the gallon. Yikes.
No, that's not true.
That's tough.
Are you calling our chatters a liar?
I mean, there's no way. There's no way. 21.5, buddy. I just looked it up.
Throw hands. All right, Ben saying no puppets. The SGS shall rise on every fightful ep. Oh, they better arrive and they better be fantastic because this shit was awful. All right, Ben saying true Shawn Michaels fan, Tom Green. That's the only explanation for the sexy boy.
So I'm a sexy boy. I'm a sexy boy.
That's a karaoke request. Some more mental health love. I wish I had like an appropriate segue to this stuff, but we do love it and prioritize it here at Fightful. 988 is the 24/7 Veterans Christ line. This motherfucker spitting. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, Ben sharing his rating, 3 out of 10 for Betty, 1 for Julie, 1 for the SGS. Thank you. Very appreciated. More desire for Grandma's Boy. You guys got to stop paying to send that. That just hurts.
Please don't do that to me.
Well, Chisholm saying it's so bad it made me find religion again, and I saw Soul Elaine.
I just don't understand the Grandma's Boy element of it because, like, listen, I enjoyed that movie greatly as a teenager. I really did. But, like, I can watch it now and be like, not my taste. There's some things I find funny, but it's not one of those where I find it so beloved like Hot Rod or so bad like Freddy Got Fingered to where I question the motives of it.
Alex, there's a couple of jukeboxes, both for my bum, of course.
Okay.
This wasn't a super chat, but thank you, Juicebox Hero, for saying I would absolutely buy Sour Grabs. Completely fucked up in a t-shirt from earlier before when we were going through the medical scene.
Yeah. Okay. Ryan Sullivan says, fine, since you want me to just go for it. William Regal sings the Bum Bum song. My bum is on the rail. Bum is on the rail. Look at me. My bum is on the rail. My bum is on a man. Bum is on a man. It's all fun to put your bum on a man in a mask. My bum is on a step. Bum is on a step. Don't fall down the steps. You might hurt your bum. And that's not very fun. If you fall down and hurt your bum. I like to put my bum on things. It's fun for everyone. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And let's see, friend Will Gaming says, since someone already paid for my bum karaoke, Darby doing Feel Your Balls for karaoke. I'm not familiar with that one.
So it's a song he did during his cancer special, testicular cancer special, to encourage people to check themselves for testicular cancer.
That makes sense. All right. Let's see here.
I believe the lyrics are feel your balls, tease your balls, please your balls, etc.
There we go. Hey kids, feel your balls so you don't get cancer. Hey kids, feel your balls so you don't get cancer. Feel your balls, squeeze your balls, tease your balls, please your balls. Early detection is the key. Rub your balls and you won't get cancer. Hey kids, feel your balls so you don't get cancer. Hey kids, feel your balls. You don't want cancer. Rub your balls, squeeze your balls so you don't get cancer. Masturbate every day. There you go. Look good?
You didn't say Malachi Black.
No, I didn't.
Or Alice.
Maggie is literally awake now. Area. Maggie's gonna see these puppets before we do. They're like 3 miles away from her house.
Yep.
The final chat, Luis, our dear moderator, who for some reason tuned into this.
I'll watch an El Santo movie before I watch Grandma's Boy.
Well, Sean, are you satisfied?
Is this everything you wanted, Sean? Okay, good.
Good.
Yeah. I wanted the most in-depth look at this movie that I could have ever imagined, and you guys delivered on that. At 2 hours and 29 minutes, you crossed the world record.
This is like where you got to extend the world record so far nobody else can possibly break it.
This was Mark McGuire passing Maris and going on the 70 is what it was.
There you go.
That's what it was.
Yep.
And then you all Barry Bonds yourselves after that and passed that up. But my God, this was I thought it was a phenomenal review. I think you all seriously have a knack at that. If you guys want to see more reviews, FightfulSelect.com.
Yeah.
I cannot begin to tell you guys how important it is to support original coverage. Because that's what supports us through all this. And God knows I'm going to need it. So head over to Fightful Select before that greedy Jimmy Van increases the price again next year. Lock in your year-long subscriptions, all that good stuff. You'll get stuff like this. You'll get additional shows from these two. You'll get my work. Just wow. That was...
And he said we cheered you up a lot today. We are so glad that our suffering could be turned into joy, which is really what this was all about. So thank you.
We just all feel like some relieved elephants at this point.
That's it.
That's how we're feeling.
I always hate ending streams when there's 8,500 people watching, but it is 1:30 in the morning. We have been talking about Freddy Got Fingered for 3.5 hours. Alex, any final words?
I'll probably never talk about this movie again now. What more is there to say?
There's nothing more to say.
What more is there to say?
There's nothing more to say. Thanks, everybody, all 8,500 of you, for watching us talk about a truly terrible movie no one should watch for 3.5 hours.
But I would rather watch this than the new Superman again. And that's how I feel.
Would not.
And that's how I feel. Superman was ass, guys. I just want to make that abundantly clear.
Keep saying it.
But it's 1:30 a.m. and I used to be cut out for staying up this late, and I'm not anymore, as you all can tell.
Yeah.
But Alex, Kate, I want to thank you. Kate, you could have went to a wrestling show tonight, and you didn't. Alex, you could have spent time with your lovely family, and I'm sorry that you didn't get there.
Yeah.
But listen, by the next time you all see Alex, he should have a fancy new webcam as well that I'm having sent to him. I'm having sent to him.
Yeah.
This was an experience, guys.
It was that.
If for some reason you're not here live and you're commenting after the fact, let us know what you think of this movie. But I'll head off and let you guys sign off.
All right.
Well,
listen,
Alex, we survived.
Yeah, we did, barely. The show that we do on Fife Select is called Sour Graps, and the tagline of that show has been now for going on 6 years. Everything sucks. Well, I can truly say nothing sucks more than this.
This movie sucks. Love you guys.